I dropped 2 guitars.
We're starting off. We're starting off good right off the bat.
Starting off good.
That's
Welcome
amazing.
to Tone Talk.
Oh,
And he just got the whiskey. He's what's gonna happen later?
What happened? Did you drop something?
I got excited by your intro, and then I wanted to play a song. I ended up dropping the EVH guitar didn't go over. This one sort of went over. This one I mostly caught. I think.
Oh wow. Okay, glad you caught it. That was your.
Wait. I want to play your riff for a minute.
Oh, you know what?
That's the Tone Talk riff, right?
It's similar. It's in drop D actually.
You need like a Tone Talk. Tone Talk. We're talking tone. Tone Talk. Wait,
I love it.
We're talking tone. We're talking tone all day long. Talking tone all day long. Tone Talk. All right, I'll stop.
We'll have the alternate version. You'll have to record it for us with you singing.
Yeah. We'll get something going.
We'll splash it in and out with the other one.
Oh my god.
Totally do one for you. I want to sing.
That is awesome. Well, I hope everybody's doing good. Welcome to Tone Talk. And
in case you didn't know, it's Tone Talk. Talking tone.
Talking
maybe.
tone.
Or talking about bad tone. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't specify.
Tone all day long.
Yeah, we don't specify really.
Tone Talk. It's good.
I love it. Could be bad tone. Could be good tone. We don't know. All right. So thanks for everybody for joining. We already have a bunch.
Mark's like flustered. He's confused now what he's going to do.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck? That's the show tonight. That's the way it's going to be the whole
The
night.
fucking guitar went over right. I could see it going. I went, oh, it's going live right now. That's just my
Perfect.
That's kind of my week, actually.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Is anybody else like Christmas has just come too fast and is just like I'm not prepared? Like, it's
Oh
like,
my god, everything. Well, like it's way too fast. Everything's fast. There was I had a daughter with a birthday today. And I it's a disaster. It's too fast. Then I have to go to Florida, and then you know,
you got a lot going on.
then there's the NAMM show.
Oh yeah, well that's always it.
And nothing is. Do you know what you're doing? Blah blah blah. Nope. I'll be figuring it out pretty quickly here.
Yeah, it's just like it's a lot, right now. Like it feels like a lot. There's a lot coming at us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That is
emails and
Oh yeah, you were doing emails earlier, weren't you?
I still have a bunch sitting there I have to do.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, it's all you.
Happy
What are you drinking?
Someone and now I'm not remembering who bought this for me because I never do, but I'm going to do a blanket thank you for the Belvini 12 Doublewood 12 that someone got me. God, I can't remember.
That's all right. And Pete,
same thing. I borrowed some of Dave's.
Oh, you did. All right. And
I'm ran over there to his place and got some.
I got Gentleman Jack, which is basically Jack and Coke. So I'm just doing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, since this show is very highbrow, you know, I had to get the step up from regular Jack. So,
so what do you mean when you say it's Jack and Coke? Like it's like
he has Jack and Coke.
I have Coke.
You got it.
Yeah, but it's just called Gentleman Jack. It's like a step up from.
Man, that's been a rock and roll drink forever.
Gentleman Jack or Jack and Coke?
Jack and Coke, not Gentleman Jack, just Jack and Coke.
Jack and Coke, yeah.
You know,
it was kind of like
I used to do.
I've moved past Jack a little bit, but
in Canada it was Ryan Coke. That's what we.
Yeah,
because I don't know why. I guess Canadian booze.
Huh?
Yeah, Ryan Coke. That's what we used to do when I was underage.
Yeah, I did Captain Morgan, which is a rum and Coke.
Captain Morgan and Coke. Yeah. I bought a little rum this year for the first time in a while to have a little rum and eggnog, but I was disappointed. I did a little alternative milk eggnog, and it just doesn't.
Oh no, you can't do that.
It's not the same.
It doesn't work.
You got to go full Monty.
It tastes like shit.
Yeah. The best ones ever is that one that comes in the glass bottle. Eggnog. Yeah, it's a Berg something.
Okay.
You can buy
it's like a glass, like an old school glass milk bottle.
Oh.
Like really, really, it's not as it's much richer and it's much more, real ingredients, and it just tastes.
You know what I miss is the Starbucks used to do the eggnog lattes, and that was like forever.
Yeah.
Thing. And then like when you're like, oh, we don't have it. We've got the pumpkin spice latte or whatever, or the peppermint caramel
spice
or peppermint, and I'm like, what do you mean you don't have it? They're like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. I'm like, well, what do you mean?
That's you replaced it with peppermint.
What's that? Yeah,
and you replaced it with peppermint. I'm sorry, peppermint in coffee just doesn't. No.
Yeah,
no,
gross.
No, gross. And pumpkin spice. No. I'm not into that either.
But eggnog is good.
Eggnog makes sense.
Yeah.
I love
milk based. Yeah.
Where's this world? What is this world coming to?
Oh, it's horrible.
A mess.
Hey, I want to mention our sponsors. First off, we've got Sweetwater.com. Make sure you guys check out our link below, which is our affiliate link. Also, check out Pete's affiliate link to Sweetwater on his shows. You guys have plenty of time still to buy stuff. It's not going to arrive before Christmas, but you can buy your gifts by Christmas. And
I'm sure there's some good deals going on the site, I would imagine, and financing deals and everything. People always love the financing deals with Sweetwater.
Yeah. I mean, so they have 0 interest for 48 months. Check out what,
Andy, look at their jammies.
Yeah, I was going to say they're all dressed. That might be a Sweetwater employee, because I know they feature sometimes employees.
It could be.
Oh, really? That's me in the back there with the glasses. When I was
when you were little.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and if you do this 0 interest financing, you can also thank me, because I'm paying for part of it.
How's that?
You are?
If it's the financing is partially funded. The financing fees are partially funded by the manufacturers.
Oh, wow!
Really?
So whatever product you're buying with 0% interest, the manufacturer is pitching in for that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I had no idea on that.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to come from somewhere, I guess, right?
Yep. Getting screwed left and right.
Somebody said. Steven says we should have done the show in PJs. We should have.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Next year we'll have to get around a Christmas tree in like PJs
or ugly sweaters.
Ugly sweaters. We should. Yeah. Some good ideas here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's next year's
2024.
Yeah. Next year. It's a good idea. I'll write it down. Yeah, but
ugly sweater. How ugly of a sweater can we do?
Oh, there's ugly out there. I've seen.
Now my wife had these little like antler thing that she puts on her head that lights up. Now that might be fun too.
Yeah.
Oh, those are yeah.
Oh, we can do that.
I've seen those.
You can do something terrible.
I'm into that.
Oh, look, there's the Kemper.
There it is. $6.98. It's cheap. It's only $6.98. It's pretty cheap.
That's the Kemper Profiler Player, right? I haven't even seen
or for $500 you can get the Friedman IRX and have real tubes.
Yeah. That is true. These are all like, here you go.
There
we go. See?
Look at
there
that.
It is. They probably don't have it, but it's
pre-order. You got to. Why do they say pre-order? Oh, I guess it's not order and order.
Well, you can order it, and they will get them when we get more. But
how much is the Lion there? Let's see. It's 3 something, and then how much is the Boss? It's right below. Look at all these modeling products. Is this going to get into talking
Boss
about
$199? I mean, got to say, Boss a good deal.
$199 is a good deal. Yeah.
Even I look at that pedal more like for me, at least for my uses, I would look at that pedal more like a stereo IR box.
Right.
Not the preamps, just the stereo IR box.
Yeah, I like that
It's simple. It's cool. They made it small. I mean, the only one before that. Well, I guess there's the Strymon. It's pretty cool because it's small and there's a little more money. But I got to give props to the Atomic guys. They had that little pedal that was a two in one, 2 models, 2 IR. You know what I mean? You could do 2 channels and then it had a boost. So you could.
Was that an older product?
Yeah. It's like at least 5-6 years old, but it was pretty cool. You could load up a Fender and a Marshall or whatever sound, and then AB them.
You can kind of do the same thing, but no boost. So,
okay,
but you can with that Boss pedal, that foot switch can just toggle between two of their built-in models they have there.
That's pretty useful.
But you can load in your own IRs on that.
Well, another cool idea is if you wanted to build like a rig, like say you had an IRX, right? And you wanted to build a rig, and a direct stereo rig, right? So, and you had a switcher on your board where you can do some switching and stuff. You could use the IRX channels plus also one of these channels, and then all your effects, and then back out the stereo IRs here. And have a useful thing, like, an alternate. Say you want to use your plexi channel for a crunchy thing, and then you just want to clean, just something real basic clean. You can use the clean out of this little cab IR box,
I see.
It'd be useful.
Yeah.
Now, having said all that, are we going to go on a rant?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right, well, before we do that,
let's finish the
promos. Yeah, let's talk about we've got fixpedalboards.com. Make sure you guys go to fixpedalboards.com
for all your pedal board accessories and lifts and bridges and
rack drawer,
power supply brackets and sliding rack shelf, even if you need one of those.
It's a good place to go.
One that was my design.
And happy holidays, Tim and the crew over there.
Yes, happy holidays. And again, so sorry to hear about Roy.
Yeah, that's sorry. That definitely sucks. And also check out Thomann. That's our European affiliate as well. We have a link in our description below. So, all right, enough with the formalities. All right, so I think like today is Festivus. Isn't that through Seinfeld? It's like the airing of the grievances.
I think so.
Yeah, that was Festivus on Seinfeld.
Festivus.
Right? Yeah, the airing of the grievances. They didn't say drinking of the whiskeys, but definitely the airing of the grievances. So
Pete hates all things software.
I do. Yeah, I know.
From experience, I know that Pete hates all things software.
Pretty much. I mean, I just get, it's just part of the job is knowing how to use the software for a million different products, because I've had to learn and all the learning curves and stuff. And it just started to get to a point where it's like it's gotten somewhat perplexing, difficult. But I always bring up this one time that really pissed me off, and it was doing a board and it had a source audio tremolo on it, right? And the guy wanted to tap tempo the fucking tremolo. Yeah.
Okay. You think this would be some easy process, right?
Right.
Well, first of all, to turn on the function, you have to download the software for the pedal.
Right.
Which then in turn, you got to make sure the whole thing works on your computer, and then you hook up the pedal. And then once you do hook up the pedal, fuck if you can find where to turn that tremolo on, even in the software. You're like looking and looking, and I'm looking. It's like, nope. Well, first I had to borrow a cable from you. A USB.
Oh yeah. Remember you
have this USB? You have this fucking USB cable?
USB mini or something.
It was like, I don't know which one it was, but it was like not. I eventually bought every USB cable there is, just so that will never happen again. And then once you get to the point, okay, I can turn on the tremolo. All right, now I have to switch it with a little tap tempo box, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out it's a proprietary circuit you need to tap tempo. It's not just a momentary switch in a box.
Right.
You have to have some parts in there with it. Or you have to have their box. And then I had to build the box with the parts that I finally found after searching the internet forever to figure out how.
Yeah.
What product?
So this is like 2 hours or 3 hours later that this is finally done. And the other pedal he wanted to tap tempo, it was a Boss DD500, and my guy Jamie had that set up in 5 minutes or less.
Yeah.
So okay, that's done. All right.
Yeah. Making it run smooth, man, and making this, if you're gonna have software, make it easy, and make it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Source Audio's they made one of the best.
They make great products.
The spring reverb, the Nemesis, where I think it's called the Nemesis with the reverb and delay in one, although there's a couple other issues with it, but it's like they make some great stuff. But yeah, it's just like, here's the thing is when you get into software, and this, Dave, because you did software for and you were a part of developing it. But when I feel like I'm constantly with these products, getting inside the mind of some developer that's been working on a thing for the better part of a year or 2 years or something. Well, what if we can add this feature? And what if it can do this? And what if it can do that? And I've been a part of development of some of that kind of stuff too. So it's always like, but when you come into it and you come into it right at the end, or which is as a product kind of demo guy, I do, or even in the middle or towards 3/4 of the way through the development of a product, you come in at a point where you realize that you're entering a culture at a company where something's already, and they're like, what if, and they've been going down this road, and they're like, and they know it because they've been thinking about it for 2 years, but you're like, wait a minute, I'm having a really hard time getting my head around this, and it's like, this needs to, and Dave, as well as I do, that a lot of times we're like, this needs to be simpler. Like what you're doing is I'm already losing. And I know a lot of you guys in the chat know what we're talking about, where you're like, okay,
I know 100% what you're talking about.
Yeah, you want to plug in and have fun. You want to just get to the tones and get to the, like you did when you had a Phase 90, or when you had as guitar players, when we had a JCM 800, or when, it was like, I remember we were talking about my amps, Dave, like my first amps. I got a Marshall MOSFET Lead 100, which was basically a solid state 2210, right? Like it was my first kind of good amp, a 100-watt MOSFET, solid state head, but it was a Marshall. And a 410 cabinet. I got that for Christmas. I didn't need to open a manual to figure that out on Christmas morning. As a kid, it was like plug in and rock. This is brilliant. Put all the knobs on 5 or whatever and turn from there. And I had a guitar sound. It was like, that was fun. And even think about the early Ibanez multi-effect thing that had a tube screamer and a UE 300 or whatever it was called. And
those sounded great.
Yeah, like just the fun stuff, the way that we, where you got a pedal or you got it, and it was like so fun. And now it's just like, yeah, it does this and it does that and it does like, and it's like, oh God, like, like just make it. I mean, okay, I got a Strymon box on my desk right now. I'm gonna make a video of this guy. The great thing about this, yes, it does. You can do the presets. It's got USB and all that stuff, but you don't need, it's obvious. You just plug it in. It's a few knobs. There's a couple switches. You get some sounds right away.
Right.
To me, that's the way to kind of do it. Like make it really simple. And then to some degree, the Source Audio is like that too, Dave, I think. But then you get to something where you probably got a legitimate, like, hey, you guys need to make it so you can turn on the tap tempo on the pedal without getting into the software. Because somebody's
or just, have a jack on the pedal that's a tap tempo jack. That just plugs a normal momentary foot switch into.
Yep.
And if you plug it in, it just works.
Solid idea.
Basic, not proprietary this or proprietary that. I just like bad idea. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, let me ask you a question on the IRX. And I know it's been brought up before, but I thought it was out of all the, what if you do this and what if you do that questions for the IRX, the one that came up to me that I was like, oh, okay, that seems like a plausible next step would be being able to open the software up on like an iPad or alternate sources other than your computer.
Sure, maybe,
iOS
but that at that point, then we need to make it ideally would need to make it Bluetooth,
right?
And it's just one more. It's just sort of one more layer of complication.
Right.
Hey Dave, on that,
believe me, just alone the software to get everything working right on a constantly evolving operating system in Windows, on how many you have to decide how many past Windows things do you want it to work on? Like how deep, how far back do you go? Same thing with Mac. and they are constantly changing. So like we actually there was a change with the Mac where we had to change something instantly that luckily we have our own software designer, so
who knows how to do this stuff.
Yeah, who knows how to do this stuff. And there's still one little bug that's going to be fixed in an update shortly too. So yeah, sorry, Pete, go ahead.
Oh, Dave, I was just going to ask you, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, with MIDI on the IRX, like, can you plug in a MIDI controller to it and send it a MIDI program change and like store it? So, like, do you have to hook up the editor to do MIDI stuff,
No.
or can you? So
like
if you never wanted to hook it up, but you're like, oh, I can hook up a MIDI cable, it's on a certain MIDI channel, I can just send it a program change and then it's going to remember or something?
The only thing you have to set up once is what MIDI channel you want it on. It comes standard on MIDI channel 1. So if that's not a problem, you can literally just send it a MIDI program change from your pedal.
Yeah.
Push on whatever you want on and hold the right hand button or something for store.
See, that's awesome. So you don't have to,
and is including the IR state. Now, the only thing you can't edit on the pedal is the presence state or the thump state. Those are in center position stock.
Yeah.
So you would have to use the software if you wanted to edit that further. That's just because we don't have switches on the pedal that did that. That was an added feature that was in later development.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, hey, could we add a presence knob and a thump knob? That's what was my first choice. We couldn't add the knobs, but we could add a 3-position switches. So I'm like, well, that'll work. That'll be fine. Let's just pick 3 determined.
So is there a 3-position switch on it I got it right here.
There's a 3 positions, not for the thump and presence.
Okay. There
is a 3-position switch in the software on each channel. You can choose.
But I mean, for a bonehead, if somebody was like,
yes.
I don't want, you could just hook this thing up and it's going to sound pretty darn good. And then you
right out of the box. Yep.
Yeah. And then you're just like, I'm good to go. I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, the presence and thump is really just like added tone.
Extra.
It seems like the 3 IRs that I actually picked to just come stock in it right away
are perfect.
Seem to be people's favorites. So
yeah, the main one, the number one.
The number 1 slot was my cab that's out out in my shop here,
which sounds great.
And you know what? That I've had people go, yeah, how can I get this IR to use in other things? I want to use it. I go, yes, you can, because you can download the IRs from the pedal you own.
Yeah.
Oh, you can? Yeah, in the software, there's a way to download those IRs. So you can do that.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I know I've got a few grievances.
Let's go.
What do you got? What do I got? All right. So first thing, what are your thoughts on the whole Wampler Tumnus germanium thing that went nuts this past couple weeks? Like, there's still like
thoughts on it.
$900, $1,000 on.
Really?
Have you seen them? Oh yeah, the prices were going crazy.
Essentially, Wampler did a germanium Tumnus pedal, which is germanium diodes. Might have been a couple other little changes. I don't know. I can't speak for Brian. And it sold out in like a day or two.
Oh no shit!
Like really,
I forgot how many were made. Like, I don't remember the number of made.
If I remember, it was 1,000 or 1,500 or something like that.
Oh yeah, they're like $750 on Reverb.
Yeah, and they sold out like wildfire. I mean, okay, sure, that's great, fantastic. I'm happy.
Amazing.
I'm happy for Brian. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
People selling them for a shit ton of money. Well, this is just what happens. When there's a limited. I saw Jakey Lee 100 amp selling for $6,000 too.
Wow.
Because it was a limited run of 200.
I wonder if it sounds any different. I'd love to try it. No.
Oh yeah,
I should watch some demo videos.
I've heard it.
I actually wrote the day that it was released. Like at the end of the day, I wrote Steve Anilo.
Okay.
And I was like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah?
Steven, you mind if I just grab one? And he wrote me back. He's like, they're all gone. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, oh, no problem. That's cool. Amazing. Yeah, like
That's brilliant.
Michael Nielsen, insatiable appetite for clons. Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
I was saying, look at these. I got
Michael,
here.
what are you drinking?
How about this? The Centaur.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Which
So-
is this one? Is this the
comes with a certificate of
who's making this one?
it's made in Korea. I have a gold and a silver here, and the gentleman's been extraordinarily patient with me for a very long time because I haven't made his pedal yet. It says from Pete Thorn on the back, and oh my god, I've had it for well over a year, and so I really need to make a video for this gentleman. But Centauru Klon Overdrive, you even said Klon on it. I guess you can do that if it's, but it's supposed to be the jam. I don't know. I have another one, a gold one here. I better
It's
make
the
a video.
exact one.
But you know what I've been,
Exact box.
Dave. You know what I want to do is find an original.
Oh,
AB
compare it,
too?
yeah.
And make a video.
Oh, I know who you could borrow one from.
Probably Oliver, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Sir has one too.
Oh, John has one?
Yeah.
He's much farther away though.
By the way, there was the whole uproar about the limited JHS, not a clone.
no non-clon,
Not a
thing.
clone.
Kit, isn't it, or something, or what?
It's a kit. Yeah, it's a not.
kit.
It's called not a clone, and it
Not a
comes with its
clone.
own. It comes with its own goop.
Really? It's a kit. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
kit you can build.
And you can goop it yourself.
You can goop
Yeah.
it yourself. Yeah,
That's rad. That's so cool.
I like that. That was fun.
yeah.
that's
a
pretty
funny
fun.
idea. Very cool. And I'm sure they're going to go for a nice collector's item price as well, because I think he sold out of them too.
I gotta hand it to the JHS guys. They do have fun.
Oh yeah, they're great.
You know?
Oh yeah, with just the I just love the fact that it's like, hey, there's no writing on this pedal. There's just
Yeah.
like some hieroglyphic of something, or
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love
fun.
clone. I mean, my main lead boost is an Obtainium, which is the clon side of it, is great. So I love that pedal. It's a crazy tube circuits clon, basically. But I used the Archer Jeff Beck one for years. Love that too.
So Pete, I got something to show you. It just arrived.
What you got? Oh, come on now.
a left-handed,
Pete
the wrong
Thorn.
way. Pete
Pete
Thorn
Thorn.
guitar.
Come on. Whose idea was it to put pickup rings on that thing? What a knucklehead.
This thing looks great, man. This thing is fantastic.
That's cool,
When you-
man.
How
I've been
long
waiting
ago did
a
you
while.
order that?
Jokes, you got a lefty one. That's
I ordered it 18 months ago.
Okay. That's about right.
Yep.
I think.
And just
Yeah.
got it right in time for the Christmas miracle.
Oh,
So,
man.
Yeah, it's
That's
dude,
Thanks
cool.
for getting that, Mark.
Yeah, it's great, Pete.
Oh,
It is-
thanks.
yeah, it's a great guitar. It really is. I love the fact that you can go from like, the real searing, bridge pickup, and you throw it all the way into, position 5, and now you're like total Hendrix vibe,
Yeah. It splits really well, that pickup, right?
Yeah. It
Good
sounds
split.
great. It sounds great. And then you just go one notch down. Now you got the full,
Yeah.
it sounds great. It's a great
And the
guitar. So
Position 4 is great too, I think, for the single coil thing. And then I use the the parallel bridge pickup sound a lot.
Yeah.
Love that sound. Yeah. I really
Yeah.
do. For certain things, it's just great,
well, this is my first Sir guitar. I
Oh,
always
really?
want- Yeah. I mean, I can never find one out in the wild, to play. And every time I went to NAMM to try one,
Yeah.
they didn't have any lefties. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was never really able to play a Sir guitar. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to get a brand new one. And I got to say, it arrived perfect out of the box, set up perfectly.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And it's definitely a cool experience getting a guitar from them. I mean, it's as I have a very high end PRS. I mean, the quality is as high, as great as high quality PRS stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's really high quality stuff. And the
Well,
frets-
thanks, man. Well, I'm really glad you're happy with it.
I am.
A guy posted something about it this week on the gear page that I thought was really cool. There was a thread on there right now that says, like, why are the Pete Thorn models so inexpensive compared to other, even other Sirs and stuff?
Hmm.
And I was like, somebody noticed. It's not inexpensive, but in comparison to other US custom shop guitars, I think that if you were to go look at Fender Custom Shop, Gibson, Sir, check it all out, all the US made custom shop stuff, you will find that guitar is actually really reasonably priced, and that is by design. I actually was, as John, as we were speccing it out, there's no flame top, there's no binding. It's scrape binding, which looks amazing, I think, but it's no bind. Originally, I wanted to do, I was like, well, what can we do for binding on the neck and everything? No, it's going to be really expensive. And I was like, okay, we don't want to do that. I really tried to keep the cost at a reasonable for what it is, because American guitars are expensive. This is how it is to build things. But by comparison, I think it's really reasonable. So,
I agree. It's a fantastic guitar, and just so happened that it arrived this week that you were going to be on the show. So I figured, and I'll surprise you and tell you I have it. So
thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Lauren in the chat had a really good idea. Time to start having guests do Tone Talk intros. That could be really funny.
Yeah,
I love it.
Every week, every time we do one, it's a different person. Holy crap!
You get a whole bunch of songs. It'd be great. If I hadn't dropped my guitar, mine would have been better because I got a little flustered. So,
it still was cool. I love the idea because we actually do have a couple. We had Phil X very early on.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He there's a clip. I have to just make it. I haven't found it. It's a very short clip where he's just like, "It's Tone Talk, it's Tone Talk," like in typical Phil.
You already got the song, so it's great. So you can literally send it to people and be like, "Hey, if you have time, make a little iPhone, and
sing over it
to the, to your show. Just be like, here with an acoustic guitar or whatever, singing the Tone Talk song."
Right.
Great.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we need to write some lyrics though.
Yeah.
About I've got mine. It's not my show, but it's a Pete Thorn Sunday Live talking about your whammy bar and your overdrive. Right? I've got my lyrics, right? So,
yeah. Where'd that come from? I never heard that before.
I haven't done it yet. I haven't recorded it, but I play it every now and then. I just pick up the guitar.
He records a new song for every video, but he can't record one for his own song alone.
I'm too busy.
That's your life, isn't it?
People are going to get mad at me if I don't. The API guy's been writing me for when are you going to make that video? Anybody know API make pedals? Look at those things.
No, what are those?
They look cool.
Look at that, right?
Are they out?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's good because you didn't just show them. You did just show them.
Really good sounding EQ, actually, and really good sounding compressor, as you would expect from API. But I got to get that done. So it's I could do my song, or I could make the video for those.
See, Lauren again says we used to drink straight Jack with Pepsi Chaser. I'm like, Pepsi, really?
Yeah, I can't do
Pepsi.
No,
say no.
Yeah,
say no to Pepsi.
What do you think of that 2290?
I got to get into it. I'm done.
Okay,
yeah. It's great.
Great. Dave says it's really good, right?
It sounds, 95% of the way to an original one. Yeah. And it's in a pedal format, and it's really easy to use. I mean, the Boss delay is amazing, the SDE 3000, but there's a bit of a learning curve on how to use it. This doesn't really have a learning curve, at least not for me, because I was familiar with, it's all right on front there. It's just the buttons. It's simple. It's not really difficult. I mean, occasionally, if you want to understand a couple of the buttons, you need to reference, the old, what they do exactly. But but basically, you can get a delay sound really fast and go, oh, okay, got it, done.
Finish. But it's if you go to some famous players patch, settings from back in the day on an original, and you patch, you set yours up
really close, man. Yeah. Really close.
Okay.
And the thing is the originals, it's they might all be a little different too, because their age, and falling apart.
Right.
Totally.
It's really good. I mean, when I tried this, the one that Pete held up, when I tried it, it was once I went to a preset that already had a little modulation on the tail of the delay, and I'm like, ooh, oh yeah, okay,
they sound really good.
Yeah, I like that preset. Let's start with that one.
Okay, well, I'll make the video because who is it? Tim here makes a great point. He says API makes pedals. Maybe people would know if you made the video.
Well, this is true.
Yeah,
there was only one wrong. Pete, by the way.
You're not wrong.
Well,
I got to
that's
do
true.
this one. I got to do that one. I gotta do...
Well, you
Only one Pete, and
You're a
he's
busy dude.
running out of space.
Mentally,
Well,
Yeah.
physically too.
physically, mentally running out of space. That's true.
Mhm.
man. Yeah. So, yeah. Speaking of the EVH delay, I do have to say, as an end of the year rant,
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing product, but it's stupid that you can't edit the EVH settings. It's just like, as a consumer product, it's kind of
Yeah, but you can do the EVH settings with the other settings.
It's easy.
You just need to tweak them to be that.
Yeah, you ballpark the sound like so. Literally, there's no mod or filter on them, which you can see when you go in and look. And then there's literally it's just the delay times. So you
Right.
just got to figure out what that is, and then
I
like
see. Yeah,
go
that's
make-
true.
There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's like 20
anymore, just the times and stuff.
That's a fair point, I guess.
as a matter of
Right.
fact, if you want the basic thing, you go in, you do okay. My preset because I wrote presets A1. A1 through A4 and B1 through B4, right? Those are mine. B4 is kind of my version of one of those.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
yeah, I added a little mod and filter though on the tail. So if you go in and you take that stuff off, you've basically got the I mean, it's just a split stereo, you know, that and then you could go in and just do different delay time. Because as Dave knows, he changed his. I mean, for a while it was a 250, 500 thing. For a while it was like the
3.6, and then it was
Right,
different, and it's like
Yeah, so you could just kind of ball. Well, this is what I like. Maybe you like 200 and 400, or maybe you like 300, 600, maybe you like so. And then so it's literally pretty easy to just go.
Did you ever do 398, 798? I thought I read that too at some point, like 400, 800 kind of thing.
Maybe as the longest one.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I thought I remember that. But okay, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna try your B4 setting because I have it set up as a wet, dry, wet. So
Oh, you do?
yeah,
Yeah, try that one. I just added a little mod and a little, or maybe not even mod, but there's filter on the tail so that it gets a little dark. It gets a little, I like my delays to get a little thinner as they, like a little darker and
like
a
a tape,
little,
like a tape.
yeah, just a little something,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
So, although having said that, because now I've used it on tour for quite a bit, that pedal, I use the EVH settings for a few things. I'm like, this is actually perfect for, it's just.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I mean, I use 1 through 3 basically all the time. So
I love it, man. I was doing the out with Nick Carter. We did "Don't You Forget About Me" by Simple Minds.
oh yeah,
And the guitar on that, I've never really noticed the guitar on that song. And probably one of the like on the studio recording, probably one of the reasons is because it's super echoey and it's kind of it's mixed into the track, but it's really cool. And I used a big old stereo delay for that sounds like I was just like in my in-ears every night. I was like, this sounds amazing, like sitting here playing this guitar sound, And the other thing I did on that tour that was so much fun was I had the MIDI switching, like because we were running, stuff that the whole time we're playing, there's click and everything. And so I had that switching all my effects so I could just walk away from the pedal board and all the sounds. So we'd go from one song right into another. I could be all the way downstage and just do the click would come in and count me off. I'd come in and here's this amazing guitar sound. I didn't have to be by my board. It was really fun to just
that's killer.
everything switched out. It's like, it sounds so good. Like but the thing I love about it is you can use so much of that delay, and especially maybe it's just partially the fact that I'm doing it in parallel too in my rig, and it sounds like you're doing wet, dry, wet, so you're doing a similar thing, but you can use so much and it sounds so clear still, like with your dry tone.
Yeah, and plus you also have your your regular dry signal going through there also, mixed with the effect, at least with the EVH effects, the patches, it's like you can still hear the guitar. Like if I turn off the effects, I can still hear in the other two speakers, all 3 speakers are going at the same time.
Right. Yeah, the beauty of the wet, dry, wet.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention, did you guys hear that Gibson is suing DiMarzio?
Yeah.
Over
That'd
the
be interesting. I want to see the outcome of that one.
PAF, the use of PAF and also the double cream.
I saw a great comment about it on the gear page. It's like your drunk uncle and something else. Like who? I'm screwing up the punchline, but it was like this person that you sort of don't like and this person that you sort of don't like fighting. So you don't really know who to root for. I like DiMarzio and I like Gibson. I'm just kidding, but it was a funny comment. Just the big corporate battle going against one.
Right.
It's like that meme. Let them fight. Right, see what
Well, you know, I think maybe
DiMarzio.
maybe you know,
I like Larry.
Gibson should have done this years ago. Maybe.
Well, I don't know why they waited
Yeah.
so long.
You know?
It's just new management finally just said, "Fuck it, let's do it." You know?
I get originally was it just like they're like, oh, Gibson never did this. I guess we'll jump on it like DiMarzio and we can patent this, even though right because nobody did it right.
Have to be careful about saying the word
PAF or
Yeah. Well,
Right.
we had when we had Joe Gundry on from Throwback.
okay.
In the actual title of the video, I think it was for that show, or maybe it was somebody else. But in the title of that video, we had PAF.
Hmm.
I actually received a letter from DiMarzio.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did.
That we had.
So got to be
and we-
careful.
And it was also in the image as well. We had PAF in the image. We had to remove change the image,
Wow.
change the title of the video because they had the ownership of PAF.
Oh,
And
I guess. I mean, the Gibsons didn't say PA. I guess they've got they make a pickup called a PAF as opposed to patent applied for, which is what So it's like Gibsons. It was just that's funny.
yeah, it's weird. The whole thing. I think. I mean, my prediction. I would say I think Gibson should win. I mean, it is their original design. It is their thing.
I wonder when DiMarzio got double cream because I've got a double cream JB. From
Well,
81
how that that's a good question when they got it. I'm not sure, but how a lot of times they skate around that is they ship they can ship a pickup but with a cover.
Got it.
Right.
That's what mine was. But I
don't know.
But well, there were companies doing double creams, and then of course once they got the patent and they were enforcing, I think some companies
It might not have been 81. It might have been after that.
I think
I'm
it
not
was
sure.
77. Actually, I think.
Oh, really?
It was 77. Yeah, 'cause I was watching the video from KDH this morning, and he showed, and he was like, apparently, interestingly enough, Larry DiMarzio claimed that he didn't know that they had double cream pickups, because in his description of when he thought of the idea, it was mostly they were just black or even some blue bobbins, which I never even heard of blue bobbins. But then he said in 59 they had some double cream, but he actually owned a real 59 with double creams and a black and white. So they're like, oh, and that was before he filed for the patent. So like he knew, But anyway, the long and short of it is, I think it was 77 of when they came out.
I have in the other room. I got this guitar. It's a custom made guitar the guy made. It's a Randy Rhoads kind of shape, and I had it made in like 81 or something. And this guy custom made me. It's all maple. And, maple neck through, maple wings, the whole nine.
Oh, you showed that to me, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a double cream JB in it.
That's cool.
Yeah, like an old double cream JB, and so I should use that pickup in something. It's cool. I should just make the guitar work again. It doesn't have a bridge on it right now. Hasn't for 40 years.
I want to say hi to Chris Church. Chris, I knew it was you with Church Audio. So, hey, Chris, how are you?
Yeah, we got it. Let's get some super chats. Porky Low End, what's going on? Mark, Dave, and Pete, as a player, what does it take to make a plexi not sound broken? Not sure about that.
Well, first of all, you got to send it to Dave and make sure it's not physically broken. And once Dave signs off and goes, "This one sounds good," then it's all in your hands, I guess.
I don't know how to answer that question really.
I wonder if it's just like a low gain thing, like if playing an amp they're not very forgiving, they're very clear, they're pretty punchy, and without a lot of gain,
shows flaws.
Yeah, you got to be clean with your hands, and then it's great. It's like if you can, right? I mean, if you could just deal with the punch and the volume and the clarity.
I don't even know how to answer that because it's like that's sort of the kind of amps I've sort of always played.
Me too.
So I just sort of, I mean, yeah, I had different amps. I mean, my first amp was a Silverface Fender Deluxe Reverb, and with a plastic MXR overdrive pedal and a Music Master Fender guitar from the 70s. Not the greatest choice. I wish I had the amp though today. That would have been cool to
What
still
was it? A
have.
Bassman, sir, you said?
No, Deluxe Reverb Silverface.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
those are
I wish I had that now.
I love Deluxes.
It was cool. I wish I had that now, but I don't. I don't have the guitar either. I rebought the plastic MXR overdrive pedal though. I saw it at a garage sale once, and I'm like, I had that when I was a kid. I'm buying that just because I want it.
Yeah,
You know? And then I went down this rabbit hole of buying all the plastic series MXR pedals.
Oh, really?
Which I have a bunch of them, and they actually sound they're good. They're all good. I mean, they're a little cheesy, but they you know, the phaser sounds good, the flanger sounds good. The there was a booster preamp with a tone knob that's just like a clean boost with the tone knob. That thing sounds great.
That's cool.
But yeah, so I went down that rabbit hole.
There was someone selling on Craigslist recently all the Dan Electro.
Oh, the originals?
Yeah, the plastic pedals, you know, the scrambled eggs and whatever those.
Man, a lot of those were really good, actually.
Yeah.
They were like stupid names and stuff and crap, but most of those pedals, like there was the sitar pedal they had,
Which actually became like a classic.
It sounded pretty cool. The original series of pedals that came out with that was a chorus and a delay. Those things sounded amazing. Those were pre the really cheap plastic ones. Those were like the metal switch in the middle. And those sounded really good, actually.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Steve Reidinger.
What's that?
Steve.
Oh yeah, Steve from
Reidinger.
We tried to get him on the show. Maybe
we love Steve.
Yeah, hopefully he'll come on one day. Steve Malt, thanks for the super chat. Merry Christmas, happy Festivus, guys. You're all an inspiration. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. Thanks all for your rekindling my love for real tube amps, moving air in the room. There's still no comparison. Here's to many more.
Yay! Thank you.
This brings us to our rant.
Okay. Our really opinionated, maybe old fogey rant
of live amps on the stage.
He can start.
Okay.
Well, I've come to this conclusion that the way that we, at least, and the way that every rock band got started since the dawn of rock and roll, up till recently, is there was a moving air element where we all had our. Okay, my first amp was a Trainer solid state 10-watt combo, but it was friggin' loud. And I remember doing my first gig with it, which was like a music recital for my music teacher. And I had a little band and we played some songs. All the kids were playing like Mary Had a Little Lamb and stuff, playing acoustic guitar. It was around Christmas time, I remember. And I had my band there, 4-piece band, and we played like a couple rock songs, and I remember the whole audience, just like people were falling asleep, and it was like, boom, these 11-year-olds get up, and it was loud. And like, so I remember that. And then I got a Ibanez made amps, Ibanez 50-watt 2-channel solid state combo with a 12 in it. And then my next amp was that aforementioned Marshall MOSFET 100 with a little 410 cabinet. And it was 100-watt MOS, wasn't tube, but it was loud enough. That's for sure. I remember playing gigs with that thing. And after that, I got a Boogie, a Caliber 50, the original one, and one of their 212, slants or whatever. 5150 was my next thing after that, I think. Studio preamp and a 295 and stuff. I had all this crazy stuff. But anyways, always amps, right? And we all would just hump the amps to the, your friend's basement or whatever, and there was drums and amps, and the bass player had his amp. We always had amps, and you were kind of like, you weren't nothing unless you had the cabinet and the head, and you need, like, when I had my little Ibanez combo, that was nice, but it was like.
And if you had a singer, he could have been possibly singing into an amp.
True.
Oh yeah, early days. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, wait, I need an XLR to 1/4 inch so I can plug into the front of the combo.
An amp so I can hear my voice.
I forgot
which
about
you
that.
Can't hear.
Forgot about that. But that was rock and roll, and it was garage bands, and it was like, and we all kind of played like that, like and there wasn't really, there maybe wasn't a PA. You're right, Dave. It was like a
Whatever, yeah.
combo, or eventually you got a little PA. I remember I
Yeah.
ended up buying like 2 speakers and a PV, 6-channel. Remember the PV PA
Mhm.
head or whatever. We all had that. But that was like extra. That was like, after you had your amps and the singer was singing through the guitar amp. That's exactly what it used to be. And
Yeah.
that was the sound of a garage band. And it was like, that's what we all grew up with. And we were emulating our heroes playing on stage with big Marshall stacks and like whatever they had. Right. And that was rock. And it's like, now it's become this other thing. And I've come to realize that there's a 2-part thing to what I'm getting around to here. The first part is moving air with everybody's got their own little rig and their amp and their own little unique tone thing, and they're moving air with it, physical air moving, like not like a direct thing. That's the one thing, moving the air. The next thing is tube amps, and I think that's actually the smaller part of the equation. We all love our tube amps and stuff and moving air, but the bigger one is taking away of the moving of the air with whatever, because I even had solid state amps that did it and stuff. That element to me has changed so much, and the whole advent of the quiet stage and the all that stuff, it's just taken away so much of what was so groovy about like the garage band element. At the end of the day, we were all, settling in around a drummer and, yelling at one another. If this guy was too loud, I can't hear myself, we got to whatever, but we're all kind of settling in around an acoustic drummer that, plays like maybe quiet, maybe louder, whatever. But then you build your sound around that. And then the PA or whatever was just extra. That was like, oh, we get to plug into a PA at a club or wherever were your first gigs. It's like, that's extra, that's cool. And it was filling in around our sound, and I don't remember a hell of a lot of like, oh, you're too loud, turn down on stage. I don't remember a lot of that like back then. Like I just don't remember that conversation.
It didn't happen.
No.
Yeah, I don't remember it. It's just like, go play the high school dance. And it was just like, oh, we get a PA now. And the PA fills in around what we already do.
See, there's certain power about rock music, and the combination of the, moving air and having it be loud. There's an element of that.
The feedback and the noises and the.
Yeah.
Kim Thale was talking about it on my, I had him on a show recently, and he was talking about how when he started playing guitar, he thought, oh, I got to do it right. I got to do it like this, like that. Oh, this is wrong if I'm making a noise. Gradually, as he starts to get to be a better player, he realizes, wait a minute, all these noises and this weird stuff and the feedback and the buzz and this is the cool stuff,
Right.
and all that crazy stuff that happens with volume and
Makes
that
for
became,
excitement.
Yeah, like the danger and
The danger of it all,
And controlling it and be able to control it, right?
The danger is missing. So someone said to me today, with the advent of so much backing tracks and so much playing to the click, backing tracks, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I don't want to go see a live band to hear the record.
Right.
I want to go see a live band to hear how it's going to sound live. He goes, I want to hear it a little different. I don't, why? I'll just sit at home and have a cocktail and listen to the record if I want to hear exactly the record. What's the point?
I mean,
and I totally agree with that.
You gave me those Van Halen, like some demo or bootleg stuff from around Van Halen 2, or no, maybe it was Club Days. But anyways, you remember you gave me those. It was like club recordings, and they're like playing like
the 60 or 70 of them.
And it's like, well, not those. It was like, it was a club. It was like a live bootleg of some sort that.
I have those a couple. Yeah, yeah.
And it's like punk rock, dangerous. Everything's faster. Like it's like they sound like they're gonna explode.
Right.
It doesn't sound like the record. Is my point.
Yeah,
right.
It's like they're not doing the record like they were like It was wild. Like.
Well, you used to go see a band to hear them possibly even improvise.
Right.
Oh my God. I remember this as a kid. This doesn't happen anymore. I remember this as a kid, like, Led Zeppelin was the kind of king of that, the kind of, they would go off in tangents and extended parts of songs and things like that, yeah. And you go to hear that. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted to hear because that's the cool thing. That's what you're going to hear different. That's what's going to make your evening special.
Yeah. unique.
back then, people also used to tape those recordings and be like,
Yeah,
oh,
and then you get the bootlegs.
right. Did you hear that solo that he did last night?
Yeah,
Oh,
that cool in Cincinnati. He really did a great.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
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 Marvel Harris in the chat there says, does it have anything to do with the predominant music in the US is now rap and hip hop? Well, the interesting thing about a lot of rap and hip hop was maybe it is a danger element, or a little bit of like, you're going to see something that's like, you know what I mean? Where people are speaking out and doing more, like, I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot to be said for like a taming it too much. You know what I mean? And it's like the wild aspect of, man, I remember what it was like. I mean, going to a show and the lights would go down, you know, and it was, or the buzz in the room before, you know, like in the, you know, there's like all the smoke in the air, and like, and the music they're playing, the songs that come on, everybody's like, yeah, they're getting pumped for the show. And then when the lights would go down and it would start, it was friggin' loud. And like, you know, not to say shows aren't loud now, but yeah, just the danger, you know, like, yeah, just part of it was that it was too loud and kind of out of control, and, you know, maybe falling off the rails or whatever. You didn't know what you were going to, like what you say, you know, there's a danger element to it. It was special, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the danger.
Getting too much. Yeah. If you sanitize it too much. By the way, it's a great, you know, our buddies in Black Rebel Motorcycle Club wrote a song about this called Whatever Happened to My Rock and Roll, right? Way back in the, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, right?
Whatever happened to my rock and roll? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. Okay, I am poo-pooing this. It's just like I'm not interested in going to see a show anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. I have no interest unless I know it's going to be great. You know, it was great. The Darkness. I just saw them.
Yeah, sure.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
Why?
They did it.
Cabinets on stage.
Yeah.
Live. Crazy. Yes, it didn't sound like the record. Perfect. You know, it was just amazing. Justin Hawkins, sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah, last time I saw them, they were great too. You were using your amps. They sounded killer.
Yeah,
great guitars.
just killer. Just guitars plastered.
Yeah,
vocals a little tucked. Even, you know,
Sure.
and that's the way it always was. When did it become vocal prominent rock music? I mean, growing up, vocal prominence was not the thing. I mean, like now you go to a show, I just, wow, I can hear the drums really good and the vocals really good, and I can't hear anything else.
Yeah,
the guitars are weak, and this is a guitar band I'm going to see. What the hell is going on? You know, like, why?
Yeah, it
was like, what would it be like to go see AC/DC and not have guitars? That's what it is. That's you know, it's like, let's just hear Brian Johnson and the drummer.
Yeah,
no, that's bad.
Yeah. Oh man,
you know,
I'm going to see Styx in like a week and a half. So
probably using all Kempers.
I'm curious. I'm going to be curious to see.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, I mean I asked Beato about this once, you know, and I said, what happened? And he said, well, at some point rock became about convenience. And I keep coming back to that.
That's a good one.
Rick's a smart guy. That was his answer right off the, it was, I was like, yeah, that's kind of true, because it wasn't convenient, you know, to hump around our cabs and everything, but that's just what we did because it was cool. You know, I was in this movie. Dave, were you in the Empire movie?
No, I wasn't actually. I
think Sir was in it. I was in it, and there was a whole bunch of, you know, different musicians, and Tommy from Alice's band was in it, and Alice Cooper's band, and his part is great because he's beside a. I mean, I'm not. This isn't a bag on modelers thing, because I think everything has a place. But he's sitting beside a Kemper or whatever, and then he's got full Marshall stacks behind him, and he's like pointing at each of them, going, "Look at." He points at the Marshall. He goes, "Just look at that." He goes, "Look how fucking cool that looks." Like, that's just, you know, it's just so cool, and it is good. Look at you behind you, Mark. I mean, you got all these amps. It's just cool. It's like,
it is cool. Yeah, I love walking in here. I've got a Kemper in my living room by my TV. That's where it belongs. It's like next to the like the home electronics. It looks like
Listen, it's great. I mean, I love, I use this stuff all the time. I'm sitting here looking at Axe Effects and Helix and stuff, and it's like, I love it, but it's like, if you use it, I mean, like Dave's doing rigs right now for Offspring. He's got their old ones behind him, and it's like, and doing the new ones. It's like they've got cabinets on stage. They're still miking them, and they still sound like. I mean, you saw them a while ago at the Ventura Theater, right?
Yeah,
and they sound like a band, right? I mean, they
sound like a rock band because they were still moving air on stage. So yes, they were using Kempers and into power amps into real cabinets on the stage. And they weren't using any IRs, and they were just miking them.
Yeah.
So it's the Axe Effects is a preamp essentially.
Yeah.
And now the new rigs will have a tube power amp in it, so we're inching closer to the old days.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will be better.
I've used the modeler into power amp in the cabs on stage thing, and it works quite well for some things, and I like it, and it might seem counterintuitive, but it's like literally just taking the IR. I mean, I send IRs to the PA when I do it, but I also have the cabs moving the air on the stage, and I've got feedback and stuff.
Right.
And it's like, that's what I did with Fight for Fighting on 2 last summer tours I did. And for that band, it's not a guitar primary instrument band anyway. Works great. But we've got a SVT up there with the bass player, and I've got 2 112s behind me, and Randy's an amazing drummer, and with the drums and the bass and the guitar, John's acoustic guitar and piano, it sounds like a band up there. It's not a silent stage. It's so the smaller but still significant part of the equation is the tube amps, which I still think takes it, but
one step up.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the trend will change at some point.
Some people, when I was talking to, oh God.
What band?
No, he was in here and you were talking to him too. The place with Osborne, Jan Osborne.
Oh, Charlie Puth.
Yeah, Charlie Puth.
Yeah, his band.
He was like he used fractal into a 2 power amp with a cabinet on stage because he just liked that. But he's talking about like ditching it all and going back to a couple JTM 45s with a pedal board because he's just like, I just don't like it. It's just not right.
Well, he's wondering if it's still one level beyond to go back to the tube amp because he's already got the cab up there. Yeah. But I love that he made a great point to me. Actually, he said, the reason that he uses a cab on stage is because it was making him self-conscious when he would see people on the side of the stage watching the band, and maybe they were thinking like, those guys aren't even playing, which they are. They're all amazing. They're great. They're great musicians in that band. Like killer, the bass player, guitar player, the drummer's insane. But with the silent stage, you wouldn't know. You stand like because I guess they'd have people on stage watching. They're standing there, and all they're hearing is the snare drum and then just you can't hear anything else, right? And it's like, so he's like, I want to have a cab up there so people know I'm actually playing. So it was even more. It was less for him and for his peace of mind, I guess, to be moving some air up there. For the 15 people that are watching on stage every night.
Well, and the other real issue that we brought this up a million times before too is with a silent stage. Yeah, you're just fucking half your audience.
100%. So that's
because you have if you want to be close to the stage. Oh, let's see the band. Let's see. Yeah. Well, you're just not going to hear anything at all because the PA. You're not hearing the PA. It's
behind you,
over you, and and over you. You'd be much better having a seat way back by the soundboard where you can actually hear everything.
All you get is these little.
So forget about paying. God knows how many thousands of dollars for those really close seats. What's the point?
Right.
Yeah. Those little front filled PA speakers, they don't used to be, when you go see a show, everything was stacked on the sides of the stage, those big bins, and it was pointing. Everybody got it. I mean, it was like,
yeah.
But now everything's flowing so high. If you want the best sound, it might sound great back by front of house, but they're not getting it down front. You just can't. I mean, they walk around with an iPad and stuff, and they can kind of get an idea down front and fill in with but the front fills are like literally like generally this big. You know,
Yeah, they're
these
tiny.
they put them on the front of. They're meant to be unobtrusive, sitting on the front of the stage
Hmm.
on a clean stage, and sometimes there's little side PA cabinets. But I'm sorry, but that's not going to translate you're not getting like what's coming out of the
Main PA.
Yeah,
that big
not at
flow
all.
VDOS rig or whatever up there, so it's like it just you got to have that shit filling in from the stage, and then it sounds like a proper band. That's what I mean, the garage band aspect, and then the PA is just filling in around it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Well, that's all true. Mr. Anderson, hey guys, why some effects loops have ground loop issues? Got a Fractal FX8 to try out, and JP2C plus SLO 100, Hot Rod 100 plus have terrible hum in 4-cable method.
well, right away we know what that is, right?
Well, all 4-cable methods of every product ever made,
Has a
except
hum.
one, the old Lexicon G2, will have a ground loop. You will have ground loops. It's not the effects loops. You're just going to have ground loops, period. Lines. So this is Fractal. So Fractal, you can use humbuster cables and probably fix most of your issues.
Ground's broken at one end.
But the humbuster cables have this weird it's a weird thing. I'm not even sure how it works, to be honest. But it essentially will fix those issues. Like all the line 6 stuff has so many ground loops, it's not even funny, including if you use the channel switching of, say, a HXFX for your amp, it will have a ground loop also.
Because you got more than one path to ground. So what you need to do is eliminate all those other paths to ground. So on an FX8, you can use on the send going to the front of your amplifier. You can either use the humbuster cable there, or you can use an ISO transformer. Something like a Palmer makes one, or I should have.
But you got more problems because with a Fractal, if you're using normal cables, you're going to get ground loops. Yes, you can use the Samson ML-I1.
These are the
To
cheapest.
the input of your amp, but you still, with the FX8's the floor unit.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's still an AC grounded unit.
Yeah.
So it has ground. So then as soon as you hook your loop up, you have ground loop again.
Oh, wow.
So there's several things you have to do to fix that. There's it's kind of elaborate. You got to cut grounds on cables. You have to use ISO transformers. You have to do all sorts of things to get it quiet.
Dave, if you use an ISO transformer on the return too, would that be so if you had two?
Well, like for instance, like right off the bat, you need 3 ISO transformers if you're doing that with a JP2C. Now the question is, does the JP2C loop, is it low impedance enough to drive those ISO transformers properly? Technically you need 3, because again, the unit is an AC grounded unit on an FX8, but you can use humbuster cables with the FX8 and it will fix your issues. So
I'm gonna go find those right now and post it in the chat.
the humbuster cables, I think Fractal sells, and I think some other people sell them too.
Is it Morley?
1999.
Isn't it Morley who makes them?
The humbuster cables?
Yeah.
No, not the hum
X. Oh, that's
not any of that. Just
Okay.
the humbuster cables. Like
humbuster.
the FX8 was the effects unit, right? That was what the FX8 was from Fractal.
I think so.
And I know you can use 3 humbuster cables on that because I've done it before.
I just found it, but it won't let me post in the chat, probably because I'm trying to post a link, and you guys control this show. So it's shop.fractalaudio.com/FAS-humbuster-cable. And you get a $19.99 price there for a 15. You can order them in 15 feet or 30 feet, and they've got everything you need to solve all your issues.
That's not bad.
There you have it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks for the question, Mr. Anderson. And happy
say hi to Alex Catlow too in the chat from Australia. Serious Amplification.
Hey, what's up, Alex?
You guys are making all kinds of money in your super chat. Look at that. Damn.
We're doing good.
Merry Christmas.
We've got great viewers. We really appreciate you guys. John DeShane, what's going on, man? Hey guys, thoughts on why my mic 100D feels so much more natural to me than my IRX. My IRX sounds phenomenal, but the feel is so immediate that it trips me up.
What's 100D?
100 Deluxe.
Oh,
I think if you would use a switcher and switch between the preamp section of both of those, you would find them to sound exactly the same. Now, if you're comparing the IRX with the IRs and something like that, this is a whole different, it's a whole different thing. It's quicker than a speaker cabinet, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I've taken the 100 Deluxe preamp section with a switcher and beat it directly to the preamp section of the IRX, where you couldn't tell at all between them in any way, shape, or form. So
okay.
I see Spartan Pride has a comment in the he says it was fun to be in the front for a band that had a loud stage, could feel the air moving. It was like we were on the stage. 103 dB.
Hell yeah.
I was at a show a week ago where I couldn't hear the guitar, and I was just getting like, God damn it, because it's just like I can see both the singer and the guitar player up there playing away. I could hear the lead guitar guy a little bit, and the singer and rhythm guitar player, I couldn't hear his guitar at all. But I pulled out my dB meter because I have a pretty good one on my phone that I paid money for, like $10 for a good app, and it was saying like 109, 110 dB. It was all vocal. You ever go to a while ago? I was at karaoke in my neighborhood at a local pub that I go to sometimes. They do karaoke on Thursday nights, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's loud, man! It's so loud!" And I pulled out my phone. It was like literally like 112 dB in that.
Oh
bar.
shit!
Yeah, it was people just drunk and screaming into vocals can be really loud,
and very piercing,
and so piercing,
especially when they're out of tune.
Yeah, it was just unbearable. Yeah. So it's like a band that's controlled. I mean, I remember seeing Dave. We always talk about our buddy that mixed Alice in Chains and going to see them in Vegas.
Tom Abraham.
And they had a limit of like 100 or 102 or something, but it sounded loud, it sounded powerful, and like it was so well mixed and everything. Really great with a great sound guy that knows rock and gets guitar, knows what he's doing. It was great, but wasn't 110 dB. So this loud thing, like. I don't know. It's just
Nick Mars. Have you guys seen the price of the new Magnetone slash amp and cab?
Oh yeah.
We talked about this in detail last night on Jason Tong's
you did
show.
Oh my god, the cabinet.
Yeah.
2,700 or something like that.
Yeah, for a V30 412.
The cabinet is where the real thing is really hard to
digest.
Get behind that one. But
I like Magnetone amps.
The thing, I'm not
great. But...
and the thing about price of an amp, okay, well, you can ask whatever you ask, I mean, there were John Mayer signature amps with PRS and stuff, and how much was that? It was like $6-7 grand or something,
Oh, it was close to 10 grand.
Or 10 grand or something.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? I don't know how to answer that, so you can ask whatever you want, although that amp, I don't even understand really. You can switch between two different gain pots. How's that? How does that work? There's no extra master. It's just two gain pots.
You think it's one channel with like rhythm gain and lead gain? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, but no volume change. So no master. Like it seems that it really is a single channel amp kind of to me.
Yeah.
And that price for a single channel amp, someone said, okay, a B100 Deluxe is $4,000. I go, yeah, it is. Sure. But it's a 3-channel amp with 1,000 different voicing switches. You can make it sound 1,000 different ways. This would be like if we offered our Phil X amp with for that price.
Right.
No.
Yeah, he's got to be
But
making
I don't know.
sweet.
But again, it is it is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
there's
a
probably
big-
a nice
What kind of
endorsement.
baffles me
right.
is, so they announced this amp, right? And it's on pre-order on Sweetwater and different things, right? So they announced this amp, but there's no video for it.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't really make any sense to me. To me, you should have a crazy video with Slash
Absolutely.
playing the amp and just like make it sound killer and launch the product.
You have to.
With that video.
Have to.
Because that's what's going to sell the product. If you launch that without that video, what is that?
Dave Friedman of Friedman Amplification has spoken.
What is that? I mean, like, I don't get it. I don't
That's
understand.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
They have a picture of them, but that's about
they
it.
have a picture, but I mean, where's the video? I want to see the video with Slash.
Right.
We know the amp sounds. I mean, their amps all sound really good.
Their amps sound good. I have nothing against the company. I think they make good amps. It's cool. That's fine. We don't know how this amp sounds, though. I mean, I don't know.
You got to make it sexy. It's got to be sexy.
You gotta, make it. Come on, bring the video. Let's go.
100%.
Yeah, and especially since it's backed by Slash and it's supposed, it's a signature amp, and you got to have the video out there to support it. I agree.
The reality is they might have such a, like, I don't know how many amps they make or ship. Maybe they can only make a certain, and it's like we let our dealers know a week early, and they're all spoken for. The first 100,
that could happen.
It could totally be that way, and and again, those Magnetone amps do sound good. I watched recently Billy Gibbons playing through his and stuff, and I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, the original, the one they came out with first, the Twin 12 with the vibrato or whatever. Oh my God, the harmonic.
That's cool.
It was just lovely sounding. It was like I could sit here and write stuff all day through this amp. It's so
that's cool stuff.
sounding. But
cool stuff. So I mean, I'm like, you can charge whatever you want. I mean, that's up to you guys, but you need the video.
Yeah,
that's what I think. And then we were talking about the Jimmy Page amp.
Oh yeah.
Last night we were talking about the Jimmy Page amp, right?
You don't even need it. It's just like, that's just cool. And
it's super cool. It looks cool. It is very expensive. Yes. It's all signed by Jimmy though. Hand signed, every single one.
Vintage.
His video was
parts.
Rumble.
So it's NOS parts. In it with NOS GE 6550 power tubes in it.
Ooh,
and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you got.
He must have sourced them.
50 quads of NOS unused GE 6550s.
That's like a unicorn.
I brought this up last night. I'm like, that's probably $1,000 a set of tubes. Probably right off the bat.
Maybe he had
my guess. Maybe he had them. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I would think that would be $1,000 a set of tubes, because a regular set of KT88s or 6550s is expensive as hell right now. Old GE one, that's expensive as hell. And then all the NOS parts, it's crazy these days for those parts. I mean, like, mustard caps and stuff. Good luck finding them. Good luck getting them. Good luck. That's insanity. So, I mean, there's probably like an insane amount of NOS parts that cost a fortune with that amp.
It's Mitch, right? I mean, it's
Mitch. He's going to do it right. It's going to be cool. And it's super expensive. Sure. I get it. I don't know what speakers they're using in the cab. I'm kind of curious.
I just love how they did it though. Like, here he shows up with all these amps on Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's like he's playing Rumble. There's your video. That's
there you go.
Need. There's your video. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And this wall of Mitch, he gets it. He's like
great pictures of Jimmy with it and cool.
Oh my God, yeah.
He probably granted, no one can afford it. Some people can afford it, maybe, but I wish I could afford it. I'd like.
I would buy if I
would buy it.
Well, I think he did I mean, when he did the Sun Dragon amp, he did a limited run and then he did a production run, right?
Yeah,
That's the way
true.
to do it. And I
Mhm.
know somebody that has one of the production run,
Mhm.
our buddy, you know, and
Yeah.
it sounded like killer. The amp was great. So it's going to be the same, you know.
Yeah, it's
the
going to be
limited thing.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and it is literally he had the real amp. That's cool.
Oh,
You know,
that's
he
awesome.
had the real amp, and you know, he really modeled it exactly after that amp.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
That's how you
you
do
know,
it.
hey, it's like that's history.
We have to have Mitch on again and talk
Yeah.
about it. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
you guys should get him on. That'd be great.
Yep. Yeah, he's
Well,
on-
we're gonna do that. You know, if I can't, you know, I would love to have Jimmy Page, but
Yeah.
if that doesn't happen, we'll just have Mitch.
Yeah.
Cool. Wayne Tone Seeker Anderson. Hey, thanks for the super chat. Hey, Dave, thanks for your help with the ISO transformer advice. Thanks, Mark, for all you do to make the show possible. You're welcome, man. Thanks, Pete, for being Canadian like me.
Right on, eh?
Sweet.
All right. Beautiful.
Right on, eh?
Right on, eh? Kick off, eh? You hold his head.
Matt's Tubes of You. Thank you. Big fan of Henry Rollins' IFC talk show from years ago and finally got around to the Chris Cornell episode. Was awesome seeing Pete up there with Chris playing No Such Thing. The band sounded great. Oh, well, I never saw that.
That was a special time. I remember that was one of the very first things we did. The first 2 weeks, we were really busy doing that kind of stuff. And I remember we did a live on KROQ. We went first thing in the morning and played like Seasons and you know, a bunch of tunes. And then one of the next things we did that week was, it was all a whirlwind, but we went to it was downtown at downtown LA at the drummer from Stone Temple Pilots. He had a studio downtown. We filmed it there.
Oh, the bomb shelter or something.
Yeah, that's where
Eric Kretz. Yep.
That's right. And that was where Henry's show was done. And we did it in there. And I don't know that I've seen it since. I should go back and see if I can find it on YouTube or something. But yeah, No Such Thing. The funny thing about that song, if you watch the ascending lick up the E string, down, do 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 do, right? And there's a background vocals. There's no such thing as nothing at all, something like that. That was the rhythm of the background vocal, and it's counter to the riff. And when I went to audition for Chris, I had about 12 hours to learn all the tunes. I got an email that night, like the night before, and the audition was 11 a.m. the next day. It was like, learn all these songs and come audition tomorrow. No Such Thing was one of them. And one of the things I realized was, like, if I can learn this background vocal and play this riff, that's going to be cool. But it was one of those, it was like, you know, doing one of these. And so I sat there at 3 a.m. in my apartment in Studio City, like going over that. And it's one of the things that I've always told, an important thing I learned from my friend Al was, he's a great guitar player and singer. He said, when you're trying to put a vocal and a guitar part together and you can't quite get it, he goes, practice the guitar part separate, get it perfect, practice the vocal, then put them together, do it slowly, and you'll always find a spot where they rub, where there's a vocal thing that happens an 8th note or a 16th.
That kind of throws you off. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, you'll find it. And he goes, just if you know the guitar part perfect and you know the vocal perfect, you'll find that spot, just go. And then all of a sudden you get it. And then the ambidextrous thing comes in and then you've got it, you know? So thanks, Al, for that. Cause like in that moment, that was one of those times where I was able to put the two things together. And I went into the audition the next day and was able to sing and play it. That it's kind of there's a little complexity to it, like the chromatic riff with the vocal at the same time. So
yeah, that's a very hard thing to do. I mean, I still find it very hard to try to sing and play at the same time, even just, some regular chordal songs, as opposed to just something that's, more complex. And it's, some like just a Beatles song or something, try to play, like that.
Yeah.
And sing. It's very hard,
There's a skill to it.
It's
for
a skill.
sure.
Definitely.
The other thing on that tune that was interesting was the verse is acoustic guitar and it breaks right down. So it's acoustic guitar and broken down drums, but the rest is rock, and I was like, how am I going to do that? So I got a Les Paul that had a Fishman. I put a Fishman power bridge in it. And I didn't do a stereo out on it. I had a mono out, but I had a push pull pot and it would kick over to the Fishman. So it was either the electric pickups or the acoustic pickups. I don't know if you remember this, Dave, because you probably built the board. But so I would pull the tone knob to go to the verse. That would switch over to the Fishman out only. And at the same time on my board, I would kick to the DI. and go away from my electric rig.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
remember that.
watch-
Oh wow.
Yeah. So if you watch the show on the IFC, you'll hear the quasi acoustic guitar Fishman sound in the verse, and then I'll kick the tone knob down and go to the electric. So it was a complex little tune to figure out how to play, but we did it on TV a bunch and stuff. It was a first single off that record. So I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to do this right. And that's what I literally had the Fishman put on there for that song and everything, and like figured out the AB and everything.
Right.
So,
Well, that's
Cheers.
awesome. Cheers.
cheers.
And while I'll bring this up, the 2 whiskey glasses Pete and I are drinking out of are from our good friend David Black.
Oh, Dave.
What's up,
Yes.
Dave?
He
Awesome.
said he went down a whiskey glass rabbit hole on the internet and sourced these nice whiskey glasses. They're really thick. They're really nice, actually.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
thank you again, David.
Yeah. Happy holidays, Dave Black. Hope you're doing good, man.
We love you.
He's a good man.
Good for your guitars for your project. I can't read. Guitars for your project. Is NAMM going to be a thing of the past? Yeah, we talked about this a bunch.
Well, that's a good question. We did talk about this before, but guess what?
Dave's going.
We're exhibiting this year.
Are you really?
Yeah, we're exhibiting.
Since when did that happen? I thought you weren't.
Well, I found out not actually from. Yeah, we're exhibiting.
Wow. So are you doing like the
It's
big?
a very much abridged, smaller setup.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a couple meeting rooms, and we have like a 20 by 10 area where like most of the brands will be displayed, and we are going to be there.
Well, then the answer is no. It's not a thing of the past.
Another brand that I know is going is MXR. They haven't.
Yeah, they haven't gone for a while. So, I think we might see, maybe it won't quite be the craziness that we used to see. I think we'll see brands coming on a smaller footprint, but that's okay. We're going to still make it cool.
Yeah.
We're
That's
still going to make it cool, and there'll be some new things, and
Yeah.
we won't be able to. We don't have a sound room, so we won't be able to play really loud. But we'll be able to play it.
I think that it's good that some brands are going back, and then it's a good time. So hopefully NAMM, hopefully everybody's coalesces into it makes sense for everybody, and that it's not too expensive for people to go. And
Even NAMM has made it a little bit easier on some of the prices and things. Yeah, it's not. You can do it relatively inexpensive compared. Well, anything's inexpensive compared to how we used to do it.
Yeah.
No,
Well, yeah, you guys used to do it big.
that was costly. So
Well, that's good though. If it's a little more reasonable and makes sense for everybody, and we can still continue because it's fun.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Fender and Gibson and the big boys will start coming back. Maybe.
I wonder if they're there this year. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have to look. I don't know. I haven't looked. I literally haven't looked.
Well, that's
I need to
cool.
look at that list and see who the hell is actually going.
Yeah, is there like a public exhibitor list or something? Or
I think so. Yeah, I think on NAMM.org or something.
I'll take a look. So
Okay.
I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy going to NAMM. So, I mean, I can't go this year. I'm going to be traveling. More guitars was in a band where other guitar player used a modeler. He'd be dicking around with menus all week. Practice. He'd unveil a new preset that was exactly the same. Live, my Friedman would bury it all in a mix. He eventually got a Friedman.
Perfect, because that's true. I mean, like the tube amp is going to bury the modeler every single time. It's just the truth. It's just going to happen.
It's so true about dicking around with menus.
And that's the other thing. It's like that. I mean, even when so if you can't beat them, join them. That's why I made the IRX. But the thing about the IRX is the fact that it basically is an amp on the floor. It doesn't move air. I understand that. It can move air if you put it into a little power amp or something, but it's knobs. You just go, okay, I've set everything in half. Okay, great. Now stop fucking around. Right, Pete?
Yeah. Stop fucking around.
Let's stop
Dave
fucking
always
around.
joked when he was making that thing. I saw it when he's. I'm like, the marketing for this should just be you holding it, and the copy should be like, "Aren't you tired of fucking around?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or stop dicking around.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not. Oh, I need a little more gain. Okay, here's the knob. Turn. Boop. Done. Okay, thanks. Other than well, with the modeler, it's like, well, okay, let's see, which modeler do I have? Okay, maybe I get my phone out and get on the phone app for it. Oh wait, no. Okay, wait, what page was the gain on? I'm not sure where it is. See,
this is why I will say I have the Kemper. The Kemper is easy. Compared to
that's because you have one snapshot of yours.
Right, you got the one snapshot, and then if you just want to, you can go through the menus with the effects and stuff like that. But for the most part,
you can't change anything though.
No, well, they do have now the liquid.
There's
profile.
a new liquid profile, but I don't know about
I haven't fucked with that yet, so I don't know. But yeah, but I like the Kemper if I'm gonna be using a modeler. That's just.
Let me tell you, I went it. So I saw this. My wife and I went to Ventura, California, and when we were there, we happened to figure out that a friend of ours that we hadn't seen in a really long time, her cover band was playing like in town, right? And so they were like, let's just go over there and surprise the living shit out of her, because we hadn't seen her for like 3 years or something, or 4 years. And of course, and she was always a really good singer and stuff, and good cover bands. I've seen her cover bands before. And the old guitar player would be using just a little like Blues Junior or something, Fender Blues Junior with a pedal board or something. And you know what? He always made it sound pretty good. Like pretty cool, actually. Like you're like listening to it going, huh, it's quiet, it's cool, but it sounds good. Sounds good, And go see her this time, and she's playing with a different guitar player, and it's a different band, and he's using a Kemper. Just fucking awful. Just sounded fucking terrible. Like not even close to. And like they're playing classic songs and stuff, and you're just like.
So was it direct? Was it direct?
No, it was through a cabinet, which is maybe even worse.
Well, the thing about a Kemper that I've always said, the Kemper even more than the Axe-Fx and Helix and stuff, because it's all profile based, is that you can make it just like a sampler sound terrible, or you can actually make it sound pretty darn good. I mean, we've all heard Kemper. Well, we've all seen the videos where it's like Kemper profile versus amp, and it's like, oh, it's pretty darn close. But the option is in there to get really bad if you, so you got to know what you're doing, kind of. And you always make the point, Dave, where you can get so far away from what the real thing sounds like that sometimes you don't, and even if you're good at this stuff and you know amps and stuff, you can get far away from it if you allow yourself to. You need to constantly
reference.
When I started using an Axe-Fx, I used to A/B it with my real rig. So I would have the real rig, my amps on load boxes, my full rack, the whole 9 yards, like everything all hooked up. And then I'd hit the A/B switch and go over to the Axe-Fx, and I'd listen through my studio monitors. I'd boom, 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 back and forth. And I would A/B the presets. That's how I would make them, because I want to get as close as I can. If you're just doing it blind with the, you're
going to fuck it up.
Especially direct. And then you take it into a band. I mean, I knew what I was doing, like, because I played amps for years and shit, and I still probably would have screwed it up. I would say I still would have, so the A/B, I'd be like, oh, I got to do this.
Oh, wow. It has a lot more bass in the Kemper or whatever.
Right.
The Fractal. Or, so a lot more bass. Oh, well, there's way less bass in the amp. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Or it's way too
brighter or less or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I found that probably 80% of the profiles that you find out there are shit.
Yes. Tonax, same thing. The Tonax, like like so much crap, like, right?
Yeah.
Except for Michael Nielsen's profile.
I was going to say Michael Nielsen. Michael Nielsen is the only one predominantly that I use of profiles. I mean, his stuff is the shit.
He makes great profiles. So
Michael Britt in Nashville,
he does good stuff too.
Good, really good.
Not as good though. Michael Nielsen's just got an ear, man.
Michael Britt would be more Nashville because he's that kind of player.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like a different thing. And Nielsen, he's great, and he gets rock a little more, maybe more in that. So it's all about finding. But Yeah. What's the guy? I gotta give it up to him. Analog M or something. He does Kemper, he does Quad Cortex, and he does Tone X profiles. And he's got really nice amps, like kind of rare Marshalls, and access to some really like real deal JTM 45s and some cool stuff. And he's done some terrific sounding Tone X profiles. He's got a big thread on Gear Page and stuff. Quad Cortex profiles as well, both direct ones and with cabs and primo speakers and like really good stuff. So he does some nice stuff. Just get your stuff from those guys, and either that or
use a tube amp.
Well, yeah, use a tube amp or make your own, NAB it with your amp and make sure it sounds exactly the same. That's what I would recommend. The Quad Cortex in particular is a really great modeler. I find for me doing the cabinet modeling in particular is so, I was able to get. It's like I could put my amps in that box and then pull up a couple of their okay, I'm going to take my top hat here and I put it in the Quad Cortex. I'm going to do the top boost channel. I'm going to do the normal channel, and I'm going to try and hit the normal channel with a real treble booster, to see if I can do Brian May. I would do all this stuff with the Quad, and I was like, damn, pretty darn good, actually, pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then the stock cabinets in the Quad, pull up the 65, open back blues cab for the AC30 stuff, be like, that sounds really good, actually, be like really good. The greenback cabinet for more Marshally stuff, 90s greenback, great, it worked really good. So I got good luck with Neural's a great company, they do. I
mean, that is that's the king of the heap as right now. I mean, they do a great job.
Yeah,
we're not saying that this stuff can't be tools, and
100%,
but it can be better. But if you really want the best tone, you're probably best off with a tube amp.
It's the easiest way.
With it's just simple. It's easy. You're not fucking around with this shit.
And isn't that like
not fucking around right there? That's the goal,
And isn't it the counter to? We were talking about how it's not convenient. Oh, it's easier actually.
It is easier.
It's easier, and and then there's another thing like. It's more I've had some people tell me this. It's more consistent, and it's more, consistent. Do you want it to be consistent? I've had several artists tell me, I don't want that. It's boring. It's utterly boring to be consistent. It's not. It's like consistently bad. Is what it is. You know what I mean? It's consistently just okay, or it's consistently not quite
underwhelming.
It's consistently slightly underwhelming.
Yeah.
It's consistently the same, but it's slightly underwhelming all the time. So,
well, if you're gonna go all the way with it, it works. I mean, okay, I did that full Van Halen set with my Quad and a
yes, you did, but you had cabinets, blasting,
412s, and the whole 9 yards. I took it all. It's almost ridiculous, like what I was for modeling what I did. Yeah, but it worked, and so and most of the bands that I know that are using,
but that's real cabinets again. It's
a
different thing.
Real cabinets.
We're not talking. That's a different world. It's a different thing. Basically, you're using a solid state amp.
Right.
You're using a solid state amp, just like like Dimebag did, or whatever.
Essentially, yes.
Or you're using a solid state amp, or Lab Series or something.
Sure.
That's cool. It's moving air still.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when we remove the moving air and a little bit of bleed and the power of the feedback and the excitement of having something big is lost. That's the bigger thing that is lost than just doing digital, which is like, it's not that as much as it is the removing that element. That's what I'm really adamant about now. I don't ever really want to play on stage directing. I mean, okay, if it's a pop gig, if it's the guitar is really secondary to, it was never a guitar. It's not guitar-based music, it's like guitar as color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Okay, nobody's going to care or notice kind of music, But if it's guitar-based music and you're doing the quiet stage, boy, are you ever really taking the nuts out of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you. One of the, and I know this is going to be a weird analogy. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm a little drunk. But
We love that.
As it should be.
one of the best experiences I ever had as a musician, but it was actually in a business setting. They brought us into a meeting where we were at an orchestra, and so it was like for business managers and stuff like that to learn about how the conductor conducts an orchestra, right? So all of us got to sit next to, within the actual orchestra, next to the musicians playing in the orchestra. So we were right in, right there. And the power of being right there, of everybody playing,
Yeah.
and it was so inspiring. It was like, fuck, it wasn't even rock music, it was just classical music, but it was like, wow, this is power. Like with the people playing the timpani and all this stuff that was going on, and the violins in the back. And I was like, okay, can you imagine if that was just all like quiet and coming through a speaker?
Right.
Yeah. So this is what I was just gonna comment on. It's like
good analogy.
Yeah. You didn't. You heard live instruments coming off the stage that were quite loud. So Steve Stevens texted me recently when he did that thing in where the hell was it that he was doing the he was playing Top Gun theme with the orchestra in Australia or something. I forgot where it was. And he texted me. He goes, "Man, that orchestra is loud."
Yeah,
and I'm like going, coming from you, that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
And because he's notoriously a loud guitar player, and he goes, "It's really loud." Yeah. Would you? Okay, so everyone now gets sticks with the strings on it with no acoustic properties.
Well,
let's get rid of the whole orchestra, acoustic properties of the whole orchestra.
Right.
The volume coming off the stage of the orchestra, which it is loud actually.
Yeah.
And let's just do it all direct and let's see how that sounds. Let's see if that'll sound really good.
Yeah, I always say it's like a piano at Steinway, right? Or a guy with a Nord with a Steinway sample, right? That player.
Oh, it's a big difference.
How inspired are they going to be, right?
Yeah,
with a proper piano, with the lid open and the whole 9 yards, or somebody playing
hitting plastic keys.
Exactly.
Yeah,
or somebody playing same thing, a B3, right? With a real Leslie cabinet, on stage, and how inspiring, how that actually inspires all the other musicians on stage, because there's nothing like a Leslie on stage. It just
through a Marshall.
And it just feels amazing on stage. And then to have, or you've got the Nord. Now out front in the PA, it might sound pretty similar. The Axe effects might sound pretty similar too, but it's like what's going on stage and for the people down front, it's not the same. And then the inspiration just it sounds like two-dimensional,
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah, two-dimensional.
100%.
That was like what I brought up to you, Pete, the other day. So I had heard a song off Pyromania or something, right? On the radio or something, or in the satellite radio. And for some reason I was in my car and I was just really listening to it and like really paying attention to it. I don't know why I was paying attention to so much, but I'm like listening to the layers. Well, first of all, the guitars sound amazing. They're really clean, real Malcolm Young style clean, and they sound amazing. But what the production style that Mutt Lange did, what you really listen to is like the different levels of reverb that was used on different instruments. So some were more ambient than others. And so there was like all these layers. So this one's really ambient. This other one is not so ambient. This one's more dry. The drums are more dry. But what he made was this depth, so much depth to the sound, and so many layers of guitars and everything else. And when the guitars come in and when they hit, it like punched you right in the chest. If you turned up the radio or you turned up the album, because I then went and listened to the whole album again because I haven't done it in years, and I'm like going, man, this sounds good.
Yeah.
And you turn it up, and you want to turn it up because it pushes this air and it has this punch.
Sure.
When guitars come in, you just heard it go, like
Right.
And it's not like it's super distorted, but you heard the power. It sounded like you said, it sounded like it was a concert.
Yeah. Well, the way guys
mixed
used
like
to
a
mix.
concert.
Yeah, and I talked to Clearman about that too, like trying to make the energy of a concert in the recording, because it was live concerts was a big deal back then, like it was the era of arenas, and so I remember asking Bob, like, were you trying to capture like a live, like the sound of the snare drum on Born in the USA?
Yeah, right.
Or the sound of Start Me Up, right?
Yeah. Right, yeah, right.
And the set, all that reverb, and he was like trying to get, it was roomy, and it had this, there was a lot, you're right, like the ambience, and had this really great kind of live energy to it.
So, but what really dawned on me for the first time in my life was I was really listening to it closely, and the different layers of the ambience, and how each part had a different layer.
Yeah.
Even if it was doubled guitar parts, like one might be more ambient than the other. And it was really interesting how that set a depth and a power to the whole thing.
I think Mike Shipley,
you gotta go and listen back to that record, just like through top to bottom, and just listen to it for what I'm talking about. And when you do that, you're like, I must have listened to it 3 times now. Like, just like I'm just like trying to wrap my head around the production of it all. And it was it's fascinating, actually.
Shipley mixed it, right? That's what you were saying. Didn't he
No, he didn't. He was the recording engineer. From what I gather, Mutt was a mixer on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think
he was involved, I think, but like,
I think
Mutt was Mutt is listed as a mixer.
Okay.
I looked it up.
I'm just looking up For Those About to Rock right now, because I think Shipley was the engineer.
Shipley was amazing.
Yeah, he did a ton of great. Okay, let me see here on For Those About to Rock. Oh, interesting. Mike Frazier.
Mike Frazier was the.
Oh, Dave Thoner mixed it. That's interesting. I love the mix on For Those About to Rock.
It sounds like a very live mix, also. Very well, of course, For Those About to Rock has that live element, but the whole album has a very punchy,
the pitch shifted snare drum and everything. It's like absolutely so amazingly powerful. It's so cool.
It's very interesting though to see the progression. Like when you look at those Def Leppard records too, from like, their first record to High and Dry to Pyromania. To the next one. It's very interesting to see what happened. Really the sound of a generation almost,
I just looked up Pyromania on Wiki, and now I'm probably on some sort of watch list because it wasn't what popped up right away. Let me see. I was just curious who mixed.
It says, I looked that up, and it says,
producer and mixing. So he mixed.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, and Nigel Green, uncredited. It says.
Yeah.
And Mike Shipley, recording engineer.
Yeah.
Nigel Green, mixing, uncredited. So.
But it was just, I don't know. It was just one of those things. I mean, like it's such a classic record, and it's funny. Sometimes you listen to things over the years and you're like, yeah, that's Def Leppard. Cool. Great. I saw Def Leppard open. They were opening on the Pyromania tour. They were opening for someone. I don't remember who. But early in that, before it really hit big, they were opening. And I saw them in Detroit. I remember that distinctly. And it was Steve Clark, and it was Phil Collin at the time. But on the record, it was Pete Willis and Steve Clark.
Mm.
It's so much tragedy in that band.
So you saw them with Pete?
No, I saw him. By that point in time, the tour was Phil Collin
Was Phil
on guitar, but Phil didn't play on Pyromania.
No,
Right. He
Yeah,
didn't
it was-
play on Pyromania?
no, I think
No.
he came in late, didn't he?
He came in late. He might have played one thing or something, but he came in late because they fired Pete Way, and it was mostly Steve Clark.
It was Pete Willis.
Pete
Pete
Willis.
Willis, sorry, not Pete.
You're thinking of Pete Way from
yeah,
yeah.
Pete Willis.
We're getting now. We've been drinking. We're getting.
Well, I would do
This
that even
guy,
without
like-
drinking. Come on.
Yeah, but he was
We're
actually a
old.
really, really kind of unsung hero of that band, Pete Willis. I mean, great
Absolutely.
guitar- great.
That was
guitar-
all the early stuff.
I mean, I never saw them live with him, so I don't, have
I
a-
didn't see him live with him either, but I saw him
Yeah.
with Phil Collin. But
I did too. Yeah,
Um,
I will
but-
say the hysteria
he
show.
showed up drunk. He showed up. Something about like he showed up to the session, like either still drunk or extremely hungover and late and everything,
Oh.
and they wound up firing him
Yeah,
really
from the band
just
entirely.
like that.
Yeah, I think the substance abuse issues,
That was
of
ongoing.
alcoholism it was like the final straw or something like. I was reading
Yeah.
about that a little bit. Final straw
Yeah.
and so gone. But I mean, like they lost so many people. I mean, like
Well, Steve a few
then
years
Steve
later.
Clark too. Yeah,
Pete
it's
Clark,
like,
another great guitar player.
I mean,
Yeah.
like really, probably the whole sound of that band from Pyromania before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, even later, even the next record, he was still there.
He wrote a lot of the riffs, from my
Yeah.
understanding too.
That's really, it's interesting. I mean, I saw them with Steve Clark still on Hysteria,
Yeah,
and that is my memory of an amazing show. I mean, I'd never seen anything quite like, because it was in the round
Mhm.
yeah.
and it was like just such a party. I just remember it being such a great show, like really memorable rock show. No, that was one of the first shows I ever saw where there was no amps on stage. It's fucking talking about amps on stage. I don't know where the cabinets were. They must have had cabinets under the stage facing
Yeah, I
up.
think they did.
They had
Under
a
the stage
crazy.
and
That was when they had their crazy
I was gonna say,
the
they had the-
glass where they could look down, and there was like all kinds of nefarious.
like they were going
activities.
under the stage and having some fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. They built this crazy stage. That's rock and roll. Come on,
Uh,
the fun days.
yeah, what happened to those days? Where are those days anymore?
That's right.
Yeah, the special stage. We're gonna actually put money into this. We're gonna be serious about
Send the roadies out to pick up the girls, and
Oh, wait a minute. This was just going on with Rammstein, so.
because those guys know how to party, and we know
yeah,
that.
except that kind of got maybe into a little trouble there.
Oh, really? Was there some?
Oh yeah, no, didn't you hear about that stuff with
Was it Till
the
stuff?
Till
Till
stuff?
stuff,
That's
But
kinda-
see, we
yeah,
know
yeah.
because we were at a Ron.
we were there.
We were there. Yeah, you and I went to the full party backstage scene with those
Full
guys.
party.
And what was interesting was the band party was
Different from Pill's part. Till's
Till had
party.
his own.
His own
And that
thing.
was kind of, yeah. Remember when we were standing, we were having a good time, and it was like, where did all these other people come from? All of a sudden, there's this
Mhm.
whole crew comes in, and it was like, oh, that's Till's party. Yeah, it was like a different
Till's
scene.
party.
So, yeah.
different
Fucking
vibe.
great show though.
His scene right now is interesting. Constance from Brit. So Brit plays with Demi Lovato, of course. The guitar player that took over for Nita when she left, Constance, she plays with Till, and she
Oh,
plays
okay.
keyboards and guitar with Till. And it's a very like, if anybody's seen his show, it's super like there's stripper poles. There's like, it's very
That
they
makes
throw-
sense.
They throw food at the crowd, and it's like it's
That makes
insanity.
sense.
Yeah, it's like a really, really crazy show. So that's she's overdoing that right now,
Oh.
which is like
That's
they
funny.
had to get a sub for Demi because they had a couple one-offs, and Constance was in the Till world of insanity,
Mm.
and it still is, I think. So Yeah.
We got to go through some super chats here. George Pelakudis, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Mark, congrats on your sir. Hey, thank you. Pete, love your red sir standard HSS.
thank you. I just knocked it over. Hopefully, it's okay.
Oh man, I hope you didn't fuck it
It's okay. I hope you dented it.
No, it's good.
up. Dave, what are possible modifications that could be done to a 73 Fender Twin?
Really?
Couldn't you modify the standard, the normal channel into something cool?
Man, I guess you could, but really, 73 twin? I don't know. I don't
Doesn't
know
it
if
have a
that's
master on it? Couldn't you pull the master out?
yeah, that's like the silver face nightmare twin.
Mm.
Probably not the best thing to modify, really. I do have a good story though about like an era of that twin. So there was a band called of course, every time I go to actually talk about something, I can't remember the band name. The band name.
The Rolling Stones.
So there was no, sorry.
Jane's Addiction.
There was a guy that came to me that needed help with his rig, and I'll remember the name eventually. He had a really weird rig. It was like a kind of tri-axis preamp and a 290 power amp.
It was BB King.
And no, definitely not. And he had a ART Smart EQ. Remember those?
Mm.
The MIDI EQs that they had, and that was between the tri-axis and the power amp. And then see, I remember the band now. 1,000 Mona Lisas.
Oh,
and they're signed act, and then a few pedals into a silver face twin about this era with the master volume. Running in parallel, right? The two sounds, right? And I'm like, oh God. So I worked out the ground loops and stuff, all associated with that. And I'm like, if you just played the silver face twin on its own, it sounded like a trash can was being hit, beaten with a bat. It was just like this searing, gnarly, fucking high-end thing. And I think the twin had JBLs in it too.
oh well.
So it just makes matters worse. But what I realized is when you had the tri-axis going into its cabinet and the twin going with what he had going on, it was like the greatest punk rock sound ever.
Wow.
It was like really great. Like you're like, all right, this is one of the learning experiences you have over the years that you can't judge always what is going to be good,
Based on the player.
Yeah. And I'm listening to this and I'm going, this is fucking school sounding. I totally like this. It was a unique tone. It was cool. And the band was awesome. It was this band called 1,000 Mona Lisas, and they were an awesome band. They did one major label record, and I still have that. In my iTunes and stuff.
What's interesting about that?
Cool band.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is like you made a great point. Is that like it was the talent of like taking, like, let's talk about Ty Tabor. How did he end up with it? Or the original was NAC 30 normal channel and Roy Gallagher, like making that work with the treble booster. Lo and behold, magic happens when you do this with this, and you get your sound. And it was just like talented people that could take something like a silver face twin and then go, but if I use it like this and combine it with this and do this certain effects, it makes an amazing.
It's a cool tone.
It's a cool tone. Ty Tabor with the Lab. Whoever would have thought that
Lab series.
The early 70s early 80s Fender with the active weird pickups and the mid boost on 10, and then this amp with a MIDI verb and an EQ. And this other thing makes this sound. And it's like, whoever would have thought, but you got these, that's humans can be genius.
That's the magic though. That's the magic. Yeah. That was your signature guitar tone. So they created their tone. Yeah. And that's a lot of what's lost today. You have everyone playing the same, fucking Friedman model in their fractal and it's the same exact thing. And okay, but what, where's the Marshall? Oh, I used the Marshall with an EQ and a Variac, and where's the I used the Lab series, but with the Fender Elite preamp into it with the thing, I'm Jimi Hendrix and I I play through a non-true bypass, the wah pedal and fuzz face and everything else with coily chords into the front of the Marshall and crank it up. Well, guess what?
I'll play
the
devil's
sound, too.
advocate. I'll play devil's advocate for 1 second because it's like maybe the gear manufacturers like yourself, you make great amps, and maybe you make it. You're like, look,
make it too good.
This is. I'm trying to make it easy for you. Here's this thing. Just put all the knobs on 5.
This is true. This is true. I mean, I understand this. I totally get that. I totally get that. And
you just have to work for it, right?
But
like,
you know,
true.
But still, I mean, what prevents you from using some crazy pedal into it, or what prevents you from using, you know, I like this guitar with gold foil pickups into my Friedman BE channel with this EQ set this certain way, and I get this tone.
100%. Yeah.
Or I like a fuzz pedal into the clean channel of the Friedman amp with the you know, the whatever, you know, that treble booster.
Look at that thing.
That thing's cool.
You just know that thing's gonna do good things.
I like that enclosure.
Right? I know, right? It just makes you want it just because you're looking at it.
This came from Poland from a guy. That's why I love it.
It's cool as hell.
It's cool as hell, and it's so it's a boost, treble, germanium. Yeah. What, like, come on, good times. You know, it's
good times. I'll be right back.
There's so many good companies out there making some great stuff.
Yeah, well, a thing like this is literally a guy, you know, that's like, you know, that's like, he's a dude, and he's like, look at the back, you know, he's making this in his
right.
Somebody that's fun and going, I'm gonna make the most fun looking boost thing that goes on top of your. I love that you can't really, like, there's no foot switch. It's like
right.
You're gonna put it on your amp.
Right, it's either on or off.
It's not a pedal, you know. It's like meant to sit on top, and people go, "What's that thing on top of his amp?"
Right.
Pretty fun.
Super cool. Yeah. Are you gonna do a video on that one too?
I am, because just look at it. Well, I plugged it in, and it did sound cool. For a minute, I was like, "Okay, it's cool." It's basically like got a switch to go between a full range boost and a treble boost, and then you can gang the channels together, I think, and do double. You know.
Oh wow.
Really so fun, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's killer.
Yeah,
it's killer. Let's see. We got a question from this one. DS guys, Damien in Seattle. I have an IRX and a PT V2. I guess he means either Pink Taco. Hey, what's up? Fryette PS2A or PS100?
How much power do you need?
Well, if he has an IRX and a PTV2, I'd go with the PS2A. You don't need a 100.
Well, maybe. I mean,
I like them both.
Sounds different.
The Pink Taco is small. It's 20 watts, right?
Yeah. I mean, how loud do you need to be? It's the question. I mean, the PS100.
Yeah, that's true. If you're going to make it louder.
The PS100 and the PS2A are. I mean, do you need 2 channels? That's the other.
Yeah, because you can A/B the channels.
So, right? So like on a PS100, you got 2 channels, and you can A/B, and set them tonally different with the presence and the thump if you want it, or not thump, or depth, or whatever he calls it.
Sorry, I'm eating, guys.
Go for it.
This happens when I drink alcohol. I'm like, I got to eat something. This is a rarity for me.
Soon I will too.
I mean, look how much I've.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Pete, I'll tell you later.
Look at that. I made a dent, man.
Oh Jesus!
Not as big of a dent as I've made.
Well, for me,
Pete had some of it.
I did.
Well,
I've stopped now.
I have to stop. Yeah, I can't. I got to eat in a little while.
Yeah. Well, I'm
There's
gonna
on
be
the water now.
As soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna be going to bed. So
we're gonna go eat if you're interested, Pete.
Oh, you're gonna go eat
the street? Yeah.
I don't think I can because
you're gonna go Brit.
Well, it's Christmas wrapping party time, and
I see.
And eating and stuff, and got to do all that tonight.
You guys got a few more minutes to go through these questions?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay,
100%.
So yeah, DS. It's really a matter of how much power. You can't go wrong with either one.
And if you want to A/B 2 channels, like solo boost, yeah. Wait, does a PS2 have an effects loop?
Yes.
Yeah, they both do.
So basically, we're talking about 50 watts versus 100 watts and
And two channels.
Two channels. Yeah.
And maybe the PS100 is a little more transparent, but I used to use a PS2 and I loved it. So I think they're both really good in that regard.
Yeah, they're both good.
Definitely. Pentatonic Prancer. I got to talk with my mouth full. Hi, gentlemen. Merry Christmas and a rocking New Year. Dave, how about an updated version of the GE10? That EQ has a sound all its own, big sound, transparent with a slight 3D sound to it.
I agree, and I have thought about doing that for a while now, and I think it would be kind of fun to do. I'm kind of curious about how many I'd actually sell. That's always a question. I have another the Buxom Boost that we do. I have another one that has a full parametric EQ that in the mid-range frequencies, which is super cool. Which is prototyped and it sounds really cool. But again, it kind of comes down sometimes to, it's like, how many are you going to make? What's the development versus how many you're going to make?
Right.
I think the GE10 could sell a lot, but how many? What's a lot? Is that 100? Is that 200? Is that 5,000? What is it? I don't think it's 5,000.
I've got an idea. The idea just happened.
Yeah.
Van Halen Plexi style with the GE10 built in right on the front.
It's not going to happen.
With the EQ. Why not?
It's not
the
going to
EQ
happen.
right on the front. Don't just hear me out. I'm just having fun. The EQ right on the front of the amp, like a Fryette, like an old pit bull.
Yeah, sure.
And the slider, and you call it the Japan 78. Yes, you do.
It's 100 watt.
You're welcome to some industrious amp designer out there.
Well, you would just need to take your new Plexi, Dave, and
well, the 50 watts, that's done and baked, according to Pete and I. It's baked.
It's fun,
done, finished, and baked. So that would be a different thing. That might be 100 watt amp.
Oh, there you go.
Why not do it in a 100 watt amp? Because why not have 50 more watts?
Yeah.
2 more power tubes, baby.
That's just fucking yes.
I love the idea.
Proper.
Yeah.
Well, what I have to do is make Dan from the darkness some plexis. That's what I need to do.
Billy Wagner. I think you didn't have a question, but you just said Merry Christmas, I think. So thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. And then there was Fatal Harmonic had a super chat, but I don't see your question.
I think they're just showing love.
Try tone controls. Is that it? No. Yeah, they're just showing love. Well, if you have a question, just let me know.
Try tone controls, different OD and different picks. What are you?
I think he was responding to somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read that first as different something and dick pics, and I got scared for a minute. And that's I'm like, oh no, don't post that.
No.
I think I've been drinking. I was like, what?
No dick
What?
pics.
Dick pics. Fatal Harmonic.
Yeah, please, no.
Pete doesn't have the best eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's too funny. Dick pics. Pentatonic Prancer. Tubes make you play with balls and aggression. Tubes raise your testosterone. Kemper is digital castration.
I like it. Good one.
That's true. Yeah, it does raise your testosterone.
Digital castration.
Oh my god.
I love that.
I got to take a picture of that. Yeah, that's a good one.
In fact, there's a T-shirt in here. Mario.
I know we
There's
really
a
need
T-shirt in this. So
We sound anti-model.
like don't do digital castration or don't or something.
Well, we can have it in front. Tubes raise your testosterone, and then the back. Kemper is digital castration.
No, I'm not going to put Kemper in there.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, modelers
Yeah.
are digital castration.
It's like a picture of a tube amp equals like something that equates testosterone, and a picture of a modeler equates.
Are you hearing this,
Classic
Mario? Are you
problem.
still here? I don't know if you're still here. You might have tuned out by now.
That's funny.
Digital erectile dysfunction.
Give us some T-shirts ideas with this one. Come on.
Robert Latham. Merry Christmas, guys. Keep doing what you do. Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we will get Mitch Colby on. He's been on before, But
he's got new things to talk about.
yeah, absolutely.
In
Ooh,
fact,
look,
he's got many things to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a good super chat there. I'm not saying anything.
Okay, wait. We got Billy Wagner, whiskey fund.
Whiskey.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
the man. You're the man. Jay Carrega. Do you have a question, Jay? I don't see it.
I think he's just showing the Christmas love.
All right, I love it. I love it. You guys rock. We've got.
Hey, Dave Black in the chat. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
I saw him earlier. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
He's
didn't.
been around.
I didn't see it.
when we were talking.
I assume you heard about the whiskey glasses. So
He did.
Nick Bukavulas. Thanks, man. Will you be bringing any lefty guitars to NAMM or any guitars?
Oh Jesus, we haven't made any lefty guitars in a long time. So no. I'm gonna say no.
Us lefties are always getting screwed, man.
I know.
Maybe
Sorry.
Mark will bring his lefty Pete Thorn signature and hang it.
Yeah,
in
there
the
you go.
booth.
I love it from NAMM. I can't come this year, but let's see. Oh, Jerry. Oh, Jerry Cherry Band. What's up, Jerry Cherry? What's going on, man? I actually used to be neighbors with Jerry Cherry. Jerry.
Is his name really Jerry Cherry?
It's his band. It's his stage name.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Just curious.
he played with Chubby Checker.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if Jerry still plays with Chubby Checker, but he did.
That's cool.
Well, thank you for buying an IRX. That's awesome.
Yeah. Jerry's a good guy. Nice
That's
to
cool,
see you
man.
there.
Chubby Checker, like an original legend.
Yeah, I mean, and Jerry plays really good. He's, it was funny. He and I met right when I was just picking guitar up, a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Right when I met my wife, actually. So it's over 20 years ago. So Jerry, if I'm ever in New York again, let's get together, man. We were together. We went to like this deli and we ran into Dennis DeYoung.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh yeah.
They were doing the Rock of Ages Broadway show. And I think he was involved in that to some degree. And so he was having soup. And Jerry and I were like,
Yeah.
Should we say something? So we were like looking at pictures on the internet. We're like, yeah, that's fucking him. We're like, yeah, that's Dennis DeYoung. Like, and we're like, he's sitting right behind us. And I'm like, yeah, we got to say something. We got to go walk up to him, So we did. And he was very nice. He was, but he was like literally like soup in hand,
Jerry, yeah. He's like thinking, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, I know.
Keep talking to me for right now. I'm trying to eat my soup.
I know. I felt bad, but it was just we just had to.
Jerry Cherry here says, I have a Strymon Iridium and a Lion 68. Hope the IRX is better. I hope so too, but it should be.
It should be. Oh, and another time Jerry and I were walking through the village and we saw we're smoking a joint through the village, and we ran into Billy Crystal.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's super New York.
Wait, was it Billy Crystal? No. It was Mike Myers. That's who it was. It was Mike.
Okay.
That's super Toronto.
Yeah, it was Mike Myers, which was super cool. Yeah. So I've ran into like people with Jerry. Okay. Sonic Blue 1922. Thank you for the super chat. Pete, Dave, thoughts on the Soldano Astro? That looks cool, man. Dave, can you do a greatest hits of your 20 waters in a similar package? Happy holidays, everyone, and look forward to Tone Talk in 24. Thanks, man.
Astro's great. I mean, Astro's a cool amp. It's really versatile and it's awesome,
Yeah, I thought it had its own Soldano thing going on.
It's a plethora of Soldano and some sounds that never existed in Soldano. So that's cool.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Works really well. It's great. It's a decent price. Can't go wrong, really. Killer.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
It
really does.
And the 20 waters, in a similar package. We'll see what comes up in the future.
And
I have some ideas.
And the IRX might come in some different versions maybe.
Versions maybe in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. So you can collect them.
the the Def Leppard records are too perfect for me. Maybe when you start getting to Hysteria.
I understand. Yeah, I get it.
No, man.
High and dry is
Through
not
the night, high and dry.
High and dry is not perfect.
No,
Pretty
it's
raw.
It's
It's a
raw.
raw album.
you
It's
know,
like an AC/DC album. I mean,
On
it's
Through the Night is even more raw.
We got to keep in mind that AC/DC like had the benefit of developing through the 70s, 75, 76. You had your High Voltage and you had Power Age and you had those records. And then we got to Highway to Hell. And it's like all of a sudden it's like, ooh, it's rocks, but they're well into their career. Then we get to 80, we get Back in Black. Now it's getting pretty polished, you know what I mean? But great, like one of the greatest records ever made, Whereas then Def Leppard comes around and they get the same producer because obviously they wanted to, capture some of that magic 79, 80 AC/DC, but he's already perfected his scene. We're going to do the same thing that we did over here.
But we're going to do this
even bigger. Yeah.
And they were young guys and it sounded, they were great records, but that's just the band that we got. Then, and it was it's great rock records. I mean, High and Dry and I used to listen to On Through the Night.
On Through the Night's great record.
Truck in Space.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great album.
Was that song Switch 625? Was that on there, or was that on High and Dry? I don't remember the track.
I think it's on High and Dry, but I might.
It's the instrumental.
It's on High and Dry.
Yeah, I think that's right after.
High and Dry, I think.
Bring it on. That's right up. Bring on the Heartbreak, isn't that right?
Bring It On the Heartbreak. Yeah.
And then it goes into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great.
I love that shit, man.
Jay correct. Anyway, you said it better than I did.
Not gonna
anyone gonna buy the Soldano X88R? You should. It's cool.
I
know because I've heard it.
I will be first in line, man.
Oh, there's a new one.
The rack mount Soldano preamp
X88 IR
with IRs.
Oh,
stereo loop,
purple
3 channels with the clean channel fixed, so it's more of a Fendery based thing.
So it doesn't have the old channel one?
No, because that sucked.
But you did a mod to one that I heard once.
No, that was a channel 2. I did the mod to.
Really?
Michael Nielsen has one that I did a mod to. Yeah, not channel 1.
I thought you did a mod to the Crunch channel. It sounded
the Crunch channel, not channel 1. The clean channel. So the Soldano, the original X88. So essentially, you had one channel really that everyone used. That was the third channel, and that was the traditional Soldano SLO channel. The Crunch channel was always a little loose and a little not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the clean channel was a little dead sounding. So most guys like Michael Landau and Steve Lukather would use external EQs to add the sparkle sort of to them, So that was the kind of the gist of it. So when Soldano was developing that, the biggest thing was let's change the clean channel.
Okay.
To be, more of a Fender-esque sort of sparkly kind of cool thing. And it's got the option of the SRV mod sort of, which gives it a kind of a mid scoop kind of thing.
Okay.
That clean channel, which is cool. And then the crunch channel was already sort of redone with the Soldano SLO, the new version of the SLO Synergy preamp. So essentially the crunch channel on that and the lead channel on that are the 2 channels, and either of those dirty channels can be a crunch or the full lead. So you can have 2 lead channels if you want. You like that? Great. You can have 2 crunch channels. You can have,
Are you talking about the Synergy?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the new.
Oh, got
Soldano.
The Soldano X88 IR Avi put up on social media.
He did.
Yes. And he goes, we're working on this. And he just had a picture of it. So the 3-channel Soldano preamp.
Okay.
And
so Did you hear I said
And-
that? Okay.
Super updated. It's got an IR section. It's got a stereo effects loop, XLR outs, level. All this stuff. And super cool.
I'm trying to find the photo.
Super awesome. So
You won't
So,
find it.
if
You're
someone's
find it on
gonna,
Avi's page.
it's on his page on Facebook. Let's say.
He posted in the Saldano group.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, X88 IR preamplifier. Oh, wait a minute. It's got 3 channels.
Yeah, it's 3 full channels.
Oh, man. I think we've both been drinking. I can't get it straight. I get it.
3 full channels.
I see what it looks
2
like.
rack space, 3 full channels.
Yeah.
A clean channel, and either of the drive channels can be crunch or the typical SLO.
I like how the clean channel says normal or altered on a switch.
Well, that
Altered.
came from the Stevie Ray Vaughan SLO amp
Yeah.
that he did the switch on. That is this little mid scoop thing.
That's cool.
It said altered on the switch.
Okay.
That Mike did, originally. So
Hey, speaking of, okay, so not to buzz around, but I've been drinking, so I'm gonna I read something yesterday about the Metroplex amp, the latest version of it.
Yeah.
That it's got a loop in it. And I was like, oh, how does he do a plexi with a loop and all that? And supposedly George made some sort of like circuit where he spent a bunch of time working on a preamp design that like would sort of emulate the phase inverter.
It could be that's what's going on, and I'm not exactly sure what he did. I'm not sure.
I'm very curious about that now.
Yeah.
Like he said,
That amp sounds good. I've heard clips of it. It seems to sound cool.
kind of do the cranked plexi thing, but with a loop.
Yeah. There's something similar that was done recently, which I can't talk about.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Leonard Rodriguez, what's going on, man? Happy holidays. Best holiday wishes. What is the ideal guitar body weight? For me, I'd probably say like 7 pounds. Poly versus nitro.
How about this? Whatever sounds great, and then just man up.
Yeah, I think Les Paul, like I've got a custom that's got a depth to it, but it's probably 10 pounds, that's got a certain sound. But I've got other Les Pauls that have an airier sound and they're 8.5. So it just depends. But my custom is cool and it's got a depth. It's got, even with it's got Thornbucker Plus in the bridge. It's not a hot pickup, 8.7K or whatever. Even with that pickup, it's just got nuts, the guitar, compared to my other Les Pauls. It just sounds cool. I used it. So I got a demo coming out tomorrow for the Bad Cat amp that's not in here anymore. It's out in the hallway, but you'll hear the custom in that. It's just got like this impact, that guitar. But anyways, it's a heavier. It's not like crazy heavy, but it ain't light. So yeah, it just depends. And then a light
nitro better.
Mm-hmm.
Generally.
I'm on the
not always, but generally.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not always. I mean, I've had many nitro guitars that poly guitars that sound great. So, I mean, I don't know.
I like the look of nitro and I love the wear and all that stuff. But for me, the finish Sur uses, it comes down to what you want the look to be, because their finish is so thin, the poly type of finish is, and it's so friggin' durable that I don't really care for the tone.
It's negligible, right? It's like
negligible.
Yeah.
It sounds, and the finish is so durable that it's like, if you like your guitar to look new all the time, then or if you like it to wear, then nitro is cool. But I wouldn't say you're picking it for the tone. I'd say you're picking it for the wear factor and what you like the look. If you like, I like guitars to check and stuff.
I mean, I had Kramer guitars before that had a huge, thick, massive poly finish that's like an inch thick. I mean, well, not that much, but it
was cool.
What I'm saying. And the guitar still sounded great.
Yeah.
So
I've had thick nitro
guitar basis.
Yeah. I've had thick nitro on guitars.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that any, so.
Yeah, my Les Paul has pretty hefty nitro on it. I mean, I don't know if it's nitro, but it's whatever Gibson uses. But it's very like a thick. They might call it nitro, but it's a thick. It's got like a poly.
A plasticizer.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you mean. The latest Gibson, the Yeah, that's not quite the same shit that it's
No,
Yeah.
it's not like real nitro.
Yeah.
It's
They
kind of
feel plasticky. I've got a 2009 50th anniversary R9 that's like that. It just has this slightly feel to the finishes.
yeah. I mean, I had the neck completely sanded down to the bare wood.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I was just like, I can't deal with this shit. I feel so
Yeah.
much better now. I probably ruined the resale value on it, but fuck it. Stormlight Architect, what's going on? Merry Christmas and a safe New Year's celebration, everyone. Pete, have you tried the Gel 50 yet? And is it in purple toe wax?
I don't think there is a JL 50 yet. Is there?
He's trying to.
Well, actually, technically, never mind.
That 20 sounds great though. There's one sitting back there. It's a really nice voice. Those amps. They have a great Marshall bark to them. That I mean, I made a video for it, and it sounds like I played The Train in it by King's X. It's like this amp does this, like really good. And people, most of the comments in the video were like, "Yeah, that absolutely spot on, nails that sound." You're right. You know, it's like that's always one of my benchmark Marshall sounds. I've got a few that aren't maybe typical, like it's not necessarily Van Halen, or that's always a benchmark, but it's like The Train is one of them, and another one is Black Shuck by The Darkness. I love that sound. That sounds just like a great, well-recorded JMP or something. That's just just in this friggin' zone, like so cool. Like it's such a great tone. But anyway, the JL 20 kind of nailed that thing. So it's really good. You know, I'm a Marshall aficionado, like our friend Dave here. And
so Dave, is the naked coming before or after the Gel 50? And keep the podcast coming.
I don't know.
No comment.
No comment.
Take the fifth. Let's see what else we got. Because I know we're hitting the end of the road here.
Pretty quick.
We got another one, Martin
Sutcliffe.
There. Well, there's also there's another
super sticker, and
no, there's a super
Martin
chat.
Martin sent all kinds of money.
Keep going. There's a super chat.
That's one.
I'm staring at it
with tubes for use. Okay. Keep going.
No, there's a whole super chat. I'm staring at it right now.
Okay, this one.
Yep, there we go.
All right. Well, thanks, Martin, for the multiple super chats.
Thank you,
Dave. Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny that you should say that.
Wow.
There could be something in the works for that. Maybe as a little tiny lunch boxy sort of thing.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, maybe.
He has 2 Dirty Shirleys.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the super chat, Martin. Chris Johnson, 2 amps, 1 cabinet, JJ and 5150. How do I mod a cabinet to run both?
Use an amp switcher. Or do you want to run them both at the same time?
I think you
could do
custom panel,
stereo cab, with 2 inputs and kind of blend it that way.
Yeah, you could do 2 inputs. Oh, what cabinet is it? That's a good question.
Yeah, is it 212, 412? What is it?
And
you can do a stereo. You can modify the cabinet to have a stereo input if it's at least a 212.
Take into account the wattage of the speakers as well. And
yeah,
you're going to want some pretty high.
I'm not
power.
so sure that in one cabinet the blending of 2 things is not like kind of
optimum
frequency cancellation kind of things,
Hmm.
You think?
But I never, like people want stereo cabinets and stuff to do stereo things, and I'm always kind of like, yeah, it's probably better. Instead of doing that, how about you get the 1 cabinet and 2 112s and then do that, because it's totally separated and there's nothing that is crossing each other. Yeah, phasing.
I've done it with Marshall cabs, like done the split.
It can work. Yeah.
When I did a tour in 2016 with a French artist named Michel Polnareff, and I used a rented Marshall cabinet, and I ran 2 PT100s, 1 into each side. 75 75 watt Celestians, not my favorite speakers. Sounded fine. It was great for that tour. It was just easy rental cabinet. Wasn't kept me in a small footprint on stage, and it was fine. So, but you need some speakers that can. You need at least. I would recommend loading a 412 with Creamback H75s for that.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's a great speaker.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And we have Buzz Wilson with a whiskey fund.
Oh, Jerry Cherry wrote, thank you, Mark. Not with Chubb anymore. He's still rocking. Oh, good.
That's
cool.
awesome, man. Chubby Checker, man. When you think about it, like
right, still
yeah,
around.
He's
the twist, right? Did he do the twist? He did the
yeah.
twist, right?
Yeah, he did.
That's like that's cool, man. I never got to play with like any of the original, I would have loved to play with somebody like that, or
Frank Sinatra or something.
Well, Jerry Lee Lewis or Chuck Berry. My friend
Berry,
did a gig with Chuck Berry. He did.
Yeah.
You know how Chuck always used pickup bands.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Dave Salinas, drummer? Do you remember him, Dave?
I know who he is.
Dave
Yeah.
Salinas, yeah. He did a gig with Chuck Berry, like a pickup gig.
Awesome.
So it's bass player. He'd always have a bass player that was his consistent MD, travel with him, and then he'd hire all the rest of the band wherever Chuck was going. This was part of what was it, Hail Hell Rock and Roll with Keith Richards and everything. How Keith was always like, Chuck's always using these random bands and pickup bands. We're gonna do a proper that was the kind of the premise of that movie. Like really try to do his music justice with a band. But anyway, so because Chuck would, I love the stories about him. Like you show up and ask for his money first. Because he learned the hard way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Suitcase with 25 grand in it, or a briefcase. Where's my money? Before he played the show.
Before he played the show. Yeah. No, I mean that's a good way. Yeah. No, I mean,
brilliant.
A lot of the promoters for the black artists at the time were just robbing them blind.
So he
not paying them. Yeah. So that was,
and he wanted to save money and he wanted to make money. So it made sense. So, but my friend Dave did a gig with him once, and he said that he told him, when Chuck's foot comes down, you start playing. And when Chuck's foot comes down again, you stop playing. That's the beginning and the end of it. So the tunes. You basically learn the tunes and the grooves, because Dave's a drummer, off the record. And then it was all about watching his foot. Well, Dave missed one downbeat at the end. And he played over it. And he's like, oh my God. And he did some fill, like, bum kind of fill or whatever. And Chuck turns around and looks at Dave and goes, yeah, that drummer's all right. I love that story. I just love the idea, but that's so cool that he played with Chuck Berry.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Stephen Douglas says, will the PT50 be ready for NAMM?
Oh, no. No. I'll tell you what, though. I've got I'm getting ready for tour, and I've got two 100s sitting right there. And those amps have a little special going on.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
Secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
I'm taking 2 heads, 2 cabinets to... Can I do a little promo for tour and for my clients?
Yeah, please do.
You mind before we get out of here?
Yeah.
So I'm going to England in January, February to do Classic Rock Show. I did a little promotional video on my channel earlier about this. We're doing 6 clinics in conjunction with Sir and Guitar in various cities, Glasgow, London, Birmingham. They're all listed on the video. So check it out on my site. What it's going to be is sound check parties, basically. You can come to the sound check and check us out playing a couple songs. So we're playing some amazing, really cool tunes on this tour. So I thought, let's pick a couple great ones. When people are walking in, we'll be playing these really cool tunes, and then it'll just open it up to questions after that. Because when you go see a guitar clinic, normally you've got like, a guy there with amp that's in this, maybe it's his signature amp or something, but in the store. So he's got one amp and a kind of pared down rig, and you got a couple speakers on sticks, and maybe somebody's playing some tracks, and it's like, whatever. This is like, you get to come to see, I got my whole thing there, the whole 9 yards, like full stereo rig, the whole 9 yards of pedals, a bunch of guitars. James has got his full rig there, and we're playing with the full, and it's a rock show. So it's like sound check party masterclass clinic where you can come and ask questions about the playing or about
great idea,
all that stuff. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be really fun. And anybody that comes, because there's a cost, you have to buy a ticket to come to the clinic, but you're automatically entered to win one of my signature guitars. So there's only 30 people at each clinic. There's 6 of them. That's 180. So you get a 1 in 180 chance of winning a really nice Sir custom guitar. And we're going to be doing giveaways and all kinds of stuff. So that's going on in January, February. But yeah, to the point of cabinets and the whole 9 yards, we're going the other way with like this thing. I'm using 2 412s and 200-watt heads on tour.
Wow.
And we've got the proper 810 bass rig, and James has got a full rig and everything. We're doing the whole 9 yards. So I'm getting ready for tour, and I got my rig in here dialed in, and I got 2 112s back there under those cabinets, and the master's low to dial in the sounds here, but getting ready to make all my sounds. And
When's this happening?
It's like second week of January is the first gigs in Gateshead, Newcastle.
Oh, wow.
Over in England. And we're doing 30 dates in UK and Europe. And also then coming back to the States. And for the first time, we're doing it in the States. We'll be in your neck of the woods, I think, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Mark. Yeah, we're playing in Florida.
Oh, cool.
I'm not 100% sure. I got to look at the exact dates. I'll send them to you, see if we're close to you. But it's going to be fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So anyways,
very cool. We'll
that's
check
my
out
little
Pete. Yeah.
promo for the clinics, and it should be a really fun time, I think. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Buzz Wilson, another whiskey fun. Thank you. Enjoying some smoky Lefroig.
Lefroig.
Okay. 10 myself. I've never heard of that, but cool.
Dirty
Lefroig is a very smoky Scotch.
Peaty.
And it's fun, and I've found that it drinks really well with Guinness. You do a Lefroig and a Guinness. It's awesome. It's an awesome pair, or some dark beer of the like.
So
Thanks to Dennis for that.
That's awesome.
Nick sent us a bunch of super chats. Here's another one. But I don't see a question.
Nick.
I don't. So if you have a question, Nick, I would love to answer it for you, man. Alex S, thanks guys for another brilliant year of tips and awesome ear candy stories. Have a great new year.
Thanks.
Thank you. Adam racked the cams. Good evening, fellas. See you in Gateshead, Peter.
Oh, awesome.
Twice.
That's a beautiful venue, by the way. That Gateshead venue is one of the coolest. Like, it's just a gorgeous concert venue. It's about a 2,500 seater or something like that, and it's really great. Like one of my favorite places to play. I really enjoy going there. Gateshead, Newcastle. It's cold, but it's nice. So, should be fun.
Sessions with Jeff. My wife is watching this while wrapping my Christmas petals presents. She rocks. That's a keeper, man. That's a keeper. Let's see. Is Dave related to David Gilmour? There's a slight resemblance. I see it.
Looks a little like
Yeah.
You get that, Dave? You ever have
I have more hair.
That's true.
Let's see. Any more super chats that I missed? Oh,
He's much older.
If the Gel 50 is ever a thing, will there be a limited model or for full production?
Full production.
Oh, you just tipped your hat, my friend. Oh, there's a question from Nick. I plugged into a twin sister at Guitar Center recently, and by the time I was done, 4 hours had flown by. Wow, 4 hours.
You sat in Guitar Center for 4 hours?
He liked your amp that much.
Wow.
Like the amp. When I hit the first chord, I was sold. What a feeling. Nothing beats that feeling.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
I hope you bought it.
I hope you bought one. Yeah, you should buy one.
See, Dave makes it easy for you. Get a nice sound. Don't gotta fight.
Alex Misano Music. Thank guys for helping me keep my sanity as I sit and wait for my delayed flight at the airport. Oh,
Awesome.
Happy holidays.
I just picture a person with his little ear pods in or whatever and just listening to that.
Sitting there in a
Us
seat.
ramble about bullshit.
Lots of noise on the PA. Looking for so-and-so to board your flight immediately. The gates will close in 10 minutes.
Oh, Mark's ready to crash, guys.
No, man, I'm
He's
good.
doing okay, actually. He
doing
seems kind of
fine.
lively.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I mean, I'm good.
Let's keep going. Another 3 hours. Here
yeah,
we go.
we'll just go. Well, we got to beat the last when we did a John Sir show.
Oh,
That was
Jesus.
Bill L, no question, just contributing to the booze fund. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you for the show. Happy holidays. Jerry says I had to pinch myself every night playing with him. I bet, man.
That's cool.
I love that feeling, man. I get that, like where you're like at the show, where you're playing, but you're like,
I get
you're
that
also, like,
feeling. I get that feeling about people I've dealt with over the years, like artists, certain
Yeah.
artists and stuff.
Yeah.
There comes a point when you're working with an artist and and you just flash back to your childhood.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's fucking Eddie Van Halen in front of me.
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's the guy. And he's ripping,
Yeah.
and you're just like, what a weird world.
Right. How did this happen?
You're so passionate that your world took you all the way to where you're supposed to be,
Yeah,
And
exactly. This stemmed from youth, it's like,
Yeah.
it was like, I was always into this stuff and guitar sounds and like deep into it. I was like,
Sure.
when I was 12 years old or 13 years old, I'm like, how does they get that guitar tone?
Yeah.
How do they get that sound? How does he get that
Yeah.
sound? How do you do that? And that it just, I don't know, it just kind of snowballed over the years.
Bobby from Mates sent me a book, which was so nice. Like out of the blue, I got a book. This is a rehearsal studio in LA, Mates
Mhm.
Classic Rehearsal Studio.
Across the street.
He like he sent me this book, which is this Lozauer Van Halen book of all
Yeah.
the photos, everything, beautiful coffee table book. And it was just like the sweetest gift. So it arrived yesterday. And inside he wrote a note and it said, well, it just said, enjoy the book, but then I sent him an email and he wrote me back. I said, dude, this is like the sweetest gift. Like you thought of me and like to send me this. It's like so nice, and he said, you're a, something like old school rocker, like you're the real deal. Like, and so, I know you'd appreciate it, because
Yeah.
and it's like, that's what it is. It's like, we really like you and I know me, I could say it confidently, like we devote our lives to this stuff because we're just so into it. It's just out of love and fun. And it's like, we're, you know what I mean? And it's like, we can't think about anything else. It's just like when we were 14 years old.
No hobbies.
It's an amazing, no hobbies. This is the hobby. And it's an amazing thing when you're devote yourself to that. And then like you find yourself, like you say, working for Ed or something. And you're just like, man, like the world.
Greatest experience ever.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better.
Or Billy Gibbons or like all the people.
Or whoever. Whoever, Warren DeMartini or whoever, Jake, all these guys are cool people. But it's so weird to me, like thinking of myself in Detroit, seeing all these concerts in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And then thinking that I've literally worked for every single one of these guitar players.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Every single last one of those guitar greats.
Yeah.
In some context.
Well, because you were so passionate about the thing that they gave to you initially that turned you on, and then it's like it brought you all the way around to be able to help them to
I mean, George Lynch, Warren, John Sykes, Steve Vai, Eddie Van Halen, Steve Stevens. Who am I forgetting? You know what I mean? Like, all the guys. When
I used to play Boys of Summer with Henley, I can remember, I don't know why, but I have a vivid memory of being like 13 or 14 and waking up and hearing that song when it was first a hit on the radio when I was probably going to school in 7th or 8th grade, and it was coming on my clock radio in the morning, And it was like the song of the summer was Boys of Summer.
Yeah, sure.
And then to stand on stage
playing it
and play it, it was always just like, man.
Totally. I understand
that whole, like, here it is, like, and the
full circle moment,
total full circle moment. That the amount of time it took me to get to that place was, a long, like to an initial audition and then a 10-year period and then not getting it because I was a little too young and green, and then going back 10 years later and then finally sewing it up. And there I got to be on stage with them, and all that stuff was like, it does feel like this, like, man, I'm where I'm supposed to be, like it's like, it's a special, it's just like this thing of guitar. If you just devote, I don't know, it's an amazing thing. It's like, it's this, the funny thing, isn't it? Like, it's very, it sounds almost naive, but it is a very pure, like, simple thing. If good things can happen, and if life doesn't get in the way, and if you don't fall by the wayside or whatever, or maybe something unfortunate happens to you, or there's a lot of factors that come into play. But if it all coalesces, you can really get there with just
but I do believe that you make it happen for yourself.
you have to.
You make it happen for yourself. Now, no one hands you anything.
No.
You work to make that happen.
Yeah,
I
dude.
work driving gear around in a truck.
Andy Brower's.
Andy Brower's.
You paid your
I
dues.
worked my way up the fucking ladder. I work constantly. I still work constantly.
Yep.
I fucking work 6 days a week here at the shop, and then I'm still answering emails in the morning. It's starting at 6 a.m. Till the time I take a shower and go to work.
Yeah.
And then I'm in the evening, I'm answering more emails. But that happens every single day. So, so there's not a time when I'm not working. And I don't believe, well, I love it. Exactly.
You still love it.
And I still love it. I still love it. And but that's, I don't know any other way.
What else would we do?
I know. I always. I think my parents instilled like a work ethic in me, and that no matter what, I always was like, I got to do this and to do this to make the money to do this to buy my guitar, and then okay, then it just snowballed.
Well, I'll tell you, for me, sorry, Pete. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mark. You haven't said anything, so I'll shut up.
I was just gonna. For me, doing this show with you, Dave, has become like a dream come true for me, because I work a corporate job, right?
Sure.
I'm not in the music industry, but I've been a music lover my entire life. I play drums now. I play guitar for over 20 years. It's taken me, playing guitar has taken me to the point where I have a show with you, doing a show over the internet.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like like how it all came to be is just, even that story is just super cool. But I'm super thankful that we do a show together, and I've interviewed my heroes, people,
and more to come.
Yeah, Steve Lukather, Vi was on the show. Some of them, I was thinking, I was seeing a promo that Rick Beato did, because he's, of course, he just did who's the guitar player from
Andy Summers?
Andy Summers, right? So he's a great interview. But I was thinking, besides Rick Beato's show, whose show has the best interviews with artists?
Yeah.
And I have to put up our show on there as
we do great, man.
One of the best shows that has interviewed some of the best artists on the internet, in my opinion. And I'm tooting our own horn, but I just want to say that you do, man. Thanks for doing the show with me. It's a pleasure doing it with you.
I don't have anything to cheers with, so
you guys do great work, man. It's awesome. But yeah, Mark.
Oh, wait, I can do this.
You're passionate about it, and your heart's in it, and you're in it for the right reasons, and that's all it really actually takes. It's
I just love it. And it worked out. I never would have predicted from picking up the guitar 20 something years ago that
anything in life you just need to work for. And if you're driven enough, you'll make it happen. I watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary.
Yeah.
And did you watch this? Any of you?
I haven't seen it. No.
I haven't seen it, but he's so inspiring.
You need to, both of you need to watch that. It's a three show documentary.
Yeah.
And he takes you through his bodybuilding, then his acting, and then the third one is the political career. And it's pretty inspiring, because he's another guy that was like not taking no for an answer. Right. This is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And he just does it. You know what I mean? Like, he just made it happen for himself. And, early on, before his acting career and stuff, you watch this documentary, and he tells in his documentary, he goes, I was already a millionaire by the time I ever touched acting.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, because Joel Weider originally told me I need to invest, the money you make, you do something with, and he bought properties and stuff in Santa Monica.
Did
and
he?
stuff really early on, like really with his bodybuilding career. When he made some money, he just invested in some properties. So he was a real estate mogul before he ever got to acting. He already was a millionaire.
Wow.
And but hearing him tell these stories in this documentary, it's awesome. It's a really good watch. You should watch it. It's fascinating.
Man,
And
anything
he tells a story about his father. You know, his father was in the war, in World War II, you know, and he was a
Nazi.
like a Nazi.
Yeah.
right.
And like he came home, the Nazis had lost, and he came home this broken man that was not happy. And you know, like, and he tells a story about his mother and his father, and you know, it's a really good watch. It's a fascinating watch.
Yeah, anything I've
you should
seen of
watch
him and delving into that, it's really fascinating. To what turned him into what he became. Because coming to American acting, being a guy that has a really strong accent, and that being, you know,
he talks about every facet of that and how it was
very difficult,
not so good at first, you know, and it wasn't, you know, but he worked hard at what he needed to do to be what he needed to be, you know, like and the thing that's inspiring is like, you know, you have a goal in your mind, and he didn't falter from that thought. And in everything, it's like, well, I'm going to be a success at acting. The second thing after the bodybuilding thing,
Right.
And
You
then,
visualize
and
it.
then I'm going to be this politician.
Yeah,
And I need to do this, you know, governor.
Yeah. He's an amazing, inspirational guy for sure. Yeah, and super. But it really is like there's a purity to it where it is really like you have to just, you know. I mean, when you were at Mates doing cartage, I was probably
Andy Browers.
Or sorry, Andy Browers, excuse me. Yeah. And when you're Andy Browers doing cartage, around that time, I was probably doing cover gigs, and you know, working in a music store and rolling quarters for, you know, rent, you know, because I can remember doing that. Like, you know, I remember surviving on $13 one week, you know, literally like going to Ralph's and buying Wonder Bread and peanut butter,
and buy for $1
tuna fish, and being like, this is going to be rough because I have, you know, it's like, I came from a upper middle class family, but my father fell on very hard times right around the time I moved and went to school and went to MI and all that. And I was able to have some help from them when I moved away, but right away when I moved, I was on my own. And all of a sudden I'm in another country, and you know, the whole 9 yards. Like, it was very difficult to figure out like how to do it. But it was like the purity of like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna I'm gonna figure this out. Like, and a lot of stumbles along the way, and like problems, and like nothing was handed to me. That's for sure. You know, I lived for the first, when I moved out, my first 4 or 5 years, I was on a futon, sleeping on the floor with a roommate, sleeping in this. I remember I had a roommate and lived with 3 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. I shared a room, and then we had a girl that was a roommate that had the other room. You know, that's how I lived. No furniture.
That's that's similar to how I lived in New York. I had 2 girls who had the bedrooms. We lived in an apartment, and they actually had good jobs. And me and I was in a band with the guitar player, keyboardist guy, and we lived in the living room. I slept in a futon and he slept on a futon.
Isn't that wild? And then you think about that, right? It's just like, how did we, like, you know?
I don't know how I survived. I was working at a CD music store in the Village,
right,
of the city, and it was rough. It was rough, but I did it. But
you did it, and then one thing leads to another. It's very incremental.
Hey guys, you know, we have like 500 people watching or something. It's like, can we get more than 29 likes? Can you, is it possible that everyone watching could just hit the like button now
and subscribe?
And subscribe to the channel. You know, that would be amazing. But you know, come on, please click the bell. Click the bell for us in your appreciation for what we do. That would be amazing. There's 500 of you, and all you got to do is go click.
There you go.
That's it. It's not going to hurt you.
Hey, let's get through these because we only have a few more minutes.
Yeah, I got to split pretty soon. I got to rap and do all kinds of stuff.
Rummy, Dave and Pete, might you know how Richie Blackmore got ambience from recording with Rainbow? Was it room mics and a loud plexi?
Think so.
Or AC30, we're using Deep Purple a lot.
Still
if you listen to
mics.
Burn, because I learned Burn for a classic rock show, that's totally an AC30.
Yeah.
It's just that's it. But yeah, I mean, bands used to use room mics a lot then, right? I mean, I think
Absolutely, yeah. Lots of room mics, yeah. That's like, Neumann's way back and bam.
Yeah. When you hear those Van Halen the leak stuff that came out, the room mics from Eruption and all that. I mean, I tend to think that engineers maybe just used to set them up and then they were recorded, like maybe on a couple when bands were maybe doing a live track or whatever. They just tracked a pair or whatever, and then you could blend them in, or maybe they did them when they were doing guitar overdubs, a distant mic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of room on, like, listen to the beginning of Highway to Hell or something, or like, If You Want Blood, or you know what I mean, like those tunes, they have a lot of Shoot to Thrill, there's like all this room. I don't think it's it's probably a distant mic, that was recorded.
Right. Christopher Vella, happy holidays to everyone. Loving my Signum limited run cable. Awesome. Long live King Edward. Speaking of that, glad you mentioned that. I got the final total from Vinny.
Oh yeah,
on what we're donating to Sweet Relief.
Mm-hmm.
$2,515.85.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we thank everybody who purchased the limited run of cables. We're going to do another run in the beginning of the year once the holidays pass and Vinny
recovers.
Yeah, he's also getting his garage redone and stuff. So once all that gets settled, we'll do another run early in the year. But yeah, so we're donating $2,515.85 to Sweet Relief. So
awesome.
That is a great thing to announce at the end of the show. Okay. Dean Van Gelder, no question. Just want to say great show and cheers to 2024 and more Tone Talk.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it, Dean. Thank you. And I think there's two last questions here. Jay Correga, Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for the show. And thank you, Pete, for the short chat at the Spud last year when Luke was playing. The baked potato.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At Christmas time last year, maybe. I remember going. I'm looking on the site right now, just so that you know, not to change the subject. 303 likes. So, Dave, you probably just had to refresh your YouTube. There's 450 people online, though.
Well, there was a minute. Someone sent me a message. And it was 500 at the time or whatever. So,
oh wow, yeah, we got a lot of people watching.
Yeah, if you're still watching and you put up with us this long, just hit the damn bell.
Yeah.
Drink on me. Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Eddie Moser for getting the Gel 20 out. By far my favorite amp I have. Pete, love watching your videos on new gear.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I got one coming tomorrow, by the way. Nice amp from Bad Cat that I did a video for. And I'm really happy with the tune and the mix and stuff. It came out really fun. So first song that I got to play my new signature. Let me show this thing just for a second.
Oh, that's your new.
It's hard to see the sparkle in that right now, but it's the deep sparkle.
It's interesting, yeah. The cam but it is sparkly.
Oh, is that the one? Is that the one with the Floyd? They got the FU tone.
Floyd.
FU tone, yeah.
So
we're talking about doing.
What made you switch? You just felt like you just didn't have enough. You felt like the stability.
So it's not a switch. Not a switch. Just wanted a one-off like this so that I could have ultimate. Really, it's like there's a few tunes in the set this year that I was like, I need a guitar that's got a little like
Floyd.
Floyd, as well as I said to John, maybe I should try your favorite pickup in this one, which is a SSH Plus, which is quite a hot, not PAFE, more like JB action. So they made me this one, and this has the Adam FU tone bridge on it. So thank you, Adam, for hooking me up with this. But it's got a big brass block, and it definitely has a different sound. And if you watch the video tomorrow that I did with this, with the Bad Cat amp, the sound, I play a lead coming in about halfway through the tune where I start on the single coil in the neck, and it's not a lot of gain. And the articulation on the neck pickup and the punch and the balls on the neck pickup that just comes through is what I'm hearing out of the block on this bridge.
Killer.
And it's cool. It's really cool. The block, it's got a slightly different thing. So it's a really fun guitar. So we're talking about doing a version like this, but the Wilkinson is still my main. I've always maintained the Wilkinson is awesome and about 90% of the way towards the tuning stability of a Floyd, because you've still got the physical nut to contend with, and that's just physics, you know? So it's like, you know, with a lock nut, there's no point of, you can take the strings all the way down. It's going to come back and be in tune. So it's like, you know,
yeah, you just don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. So thanks, FU Tone, and the nice folks at Sir Guitars.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we have to have Adam on one of these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Adam and I had a little falling out at one point, but I did apologize, and I hope he
Was it over a lady?
No. But I would love to have Adam on the show one day. He has an open invitation to come on and talk about all his stuff. So, all right, guys, our next show is next Friday. Next Saturday, the 30th. We have Adam Nolly of Get Good Drums and Get Good Software and all his stuff that he does. So Adam Nolly will be coming on, and that'll be our last show for the year. So,
ask him about try and remember to ask him about speaker, the side of the speaker that has the, what do they call it, Dave, where the wires connect?
Yeah.
Sounding different than the other side.
Yeah, sure.
When he goes to make IRs, ask him about that. And about
I bet it
pretty cool.
does.
Yeah, so if you got the mic on the speaker and you move it out to this side, or if you move it out to this side, the side that has the dots on it or whatever, where the wires connect, he's got a whole thing.
really?
Yeah. So ask.
Oh, we will.
And I'll watch. And I'd love to hear what he says about that, because it's I was like, no, not one more thing I have to think about. And then I went and listened, and I was like, oh shit.
Just another thing to get in the way.
Yeah, I learned that from him. Yeah.
All right, well, you guys hang on. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We'll see
you guys later.